let's do a cheers to the Sobeys and Safer Liquid Beer for the podcast.
Be right again.
I love you guys.
Careful, that cake's hot.
Let's do a cheers.
It's the 6 o'clock check-in, come on, let's go. It's the AM Nasty Big Hello.
Hello!
It's not static, AM radio.
It's the Cool Bed Red Hot Nielson Show. Let's go. Everybody tuning in, even my wife.
Mommy likes too.
And those Macromala intros are cutting like a knife. Hey, it's Mitch texting in, he's your dealer for life. Let's crack at 6 o'clock and log you with some sirloin bites.
Well, that's perfect timing. We're off and rolling. We are off and rolling. Oh, you're a daisy if you do. It's not that day. It's not that day.
But you know what it is?
What day is it today?
Game day.
It is game day.
It is game day.
Edmonton, we got to get serious here for a second. It is game day. It is game day. You can text us anytime. Man, the Macromal intros are rolling in today, and Macromal's not going to join us today. He's actually out of the country. I don't know if he's on the lam.
I like
I always like the idea.
Just stop it there. Out of the country.
He's out of the country.
So
this is what he texts me.
Ooh.
He goes, I can't join you this week or next Wednesday, but he said he'll join me Thursday or Friday next week.
it's like Rashog when he went to Saskatoon, and there was
he was definitely on the lam.
no way to connect, right?
No internet in Saskatoon.
Yeah, when you're out of the country, when you're out of Canada, there's no way to connect.
Stoffer for Premier is in this morning and says, anyone else catch the Bob Father mentioned this show on his show last night?
I missed it.
Friend of EST, dare I say. A conch for the man, the myth, the legend, Bob Stoffer. I also do like the idea of Stoffer for Premier actually being Stoff. And he's actually in the Nasty Chat being like, I messaged that. Yeah, that's great.
What did he say? What did we
I would assume he probably said, those fools over on the Nielson Show,
Yeah.
they'll never take the Golden Bear seriously.
Was it
Something
in a
along
serious
those lines.
tone or some sort of hilarity? Maybe a 3 questions too many of his own show.
Oh, and
pops
an
up,
ode to the show.
Right? I don't know.
What do they say? Copying somebody is the sincerest form of flattery.
Imitation.
And yeah, that's the one. Maybe that's what it was. Strummy's in and says, no Macromala. I says, pardon? Yeah, look, he's out of the country.
He's out of the country. Can't join us.
I don't really think I've ever sent that text. Even when I have been at Spengler and stuff, I never dropped the, hey, I'm out of the country.
Remember when we left the country and then did the show for the whole week?
Yeah. Actually, he didn't say out of the country. He said just down south for 10 days.
Oh, well, that's even more cryptic.
What's that?
How far south did he go? 780-218-9999.
Well, and if you're out of our country, there's most of the time you are going south. What's he going to text me and say, sorry, man, I'm up north for 10 days. Up north where?
That'd be pretty neat.
Yeah.
Defending the Arctic. The sovereignty of our...
They're one of his clients. The Arctic is one of his clients.
Strummy, great idea in the Nasty Chat. We should all tweet him your intros. Do that today.
Yeah,
I know they're usually
sent
in for text of the day, but maybe, tweet at him. I'm sure he'd love to see that.
Man, there's this one was really good, actually. I might still dish out a text of the day for Macromal intros, even though he's not on. Tommy Rubella, EST legal analyst and guy whose career as a hostage negotiator was oddly successful, even though he started every time with saying, you won't do it. You don't have the balls. and always ended with him letting the hostage takers look upon his naked body. Eric Macramella.
Wow.
What a text to start the day. Tommy Rubella. That's not bad, man. That's not bad. I like that one. Anyway, you can tweet him at Macramella. You can send him into us. We might still read a few. We do have a busy show today. The show is starting to become very jam-packed from day to day. It really is. We have a bunch of different segments on the go. Obviously, a bunch of guests along the way as well. Strummy again, EST legal analyst and guy who recently gave up his lifelong dream of becoming a professional athlete after realizing no matter how hard he'll try, he never gets athlete's foot. How can I be an athlete when my feet are like this?
It's an illustrious club.
That's a good one. If you need a conch this morning, let us know why. 780-218-9999. Where will that get you? That gets you inside the Paris Jewelers inbox. Go see our friends at PJ's, and they'll look after you. You know, there's Valentine's Day, but then there's also leap year jewelry that you could get, right? It's tomorrow only happens once every 4 years.
We know a special 15-year-old that will be turning a birthday on the leap year this year. But yes, maybe that's the reasoning. You buy and then you don't pay until the next leap year. Maybe you can go into PJ's and kind of finagle them, barter, that type of thing.
We gotta know
the leap year deal.
Matt and the family over at Paris Jewelers. Do you have that deal?
The leap year deal.
Your special bonus financing offer. Don't pay until the next February 29th.
If you know, you know.
God, that's a great idea. You're a marketing genius, Eric.
I don't know about that.
You are a marketing genius.
Only once every 4 years.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
These ideas.
So 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. If you want to get into the Paris Jewelers inbox, if you get in there and you are successful today with some sort of hilarious text message or a text message that really hits home with us, you could end up winning text of the day for A&W. Tell your buddies about the new spicy Piri Piri, buddy. Only $3.99. That's cheap. Each burger features the new spicy Piri Piri sauce, a whole bunch of veggies, and then chicken, beef, or hash brown patties. Available for a limited time only, and only at A&W. Game day versus the St. Louis Blues. Let me lay out the show for you, then we'll get in some morning announcements here today as we work our way through the show this morning. We got a busy one. Morning announcements coming up. Tales of the North on a game day. No big deal. No big deal.
House Bannister rolling into town, hey?
House Bannister?
The whole blues and the, all that.
Nope.
All right. Well, we'll get to Tales. We'll get to Tales of the
North. Tales of the North coming up. Tales of the North coming up today. I got a good one. I have a bunch of names for.
It's not hitting. Drew Bannister, House of Bannister, the Blues, head coach.
Oh, okay.
Lannister, Bannister, Game of Thrones.
Okay, yeah. I see. A Bannister always pays his debts. Hey, is that what you're doing? I got it now.
Yeah.
I'm on board.
I thought you'd eventually it would like.
Yeah, sorry, man.
All those Buchnevich intros that you're.
You know how many times I've tweeted out, like I've scheduled tweets mentioning Buchnevich today. We're going to get into it as we work our way through the show.
Buchnevich on the brain.
I don't have, I was thinking about doing some Buchnevich in the, but I basically have like a Connor McDavid not shooting and passing so much Tales of the North today.
You don't want to come after a future Oiler too hard either, eh?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if anything, we pump them up a little bit here, right? Pump up the tires a little bit. So we could do that. Tales of the North coming up around 6:30 this morning. I says, pardon? We're going to go there around 6:45 today. Darren Dreger, who usually joins us Monday, and then was going to join us on Tuesday this week, but the noodle set to switch. Dreger's going to join us today, which is a good day. Talk about Gary Bettman rolling into Winnipeg. We'll get into that a little bit in the morning announcements as well. Gary Bettman, the commish himself, in Winnipeg last night to say everything's fine here. So we'll get to that.
But was it a hot stove? Him and Orlesky sitting there in a barren rink, like his kind of.
Yeah, and then he was also on with John Liu.
It's very foreboding. Nothing just, and then when were they going? Like, it's all good. Nothing.
What was great is while I think he was on with John Liu, they cut to like scenes inside the building, and one of them was Huss. Huss was sitting there in a Jets jersey talking to his buddies. I was just like, Huss is a man of the people, man. Like, is the best, is the absolute best. So that was a good one. So Dregs will join us just after 7:00 this morning. We'll talk Oilers Blues. We'll talk about the Blues here prior to the deadline. We got a Hudson's gift certificate. Join Tommy Gazzola tonight. Hudson's on White. He's done 2 at West Edmonton Mall. He's done 1 at White already. Another pre and post game at Hudson's on White tonight. If you're looking for a place to watch the game, swing on down there. I tweeted out last night. If you go look on Twitter, I tweeted out tomorrow night at Hudson's, and the first reply was somebody like me getting ready to go get a $50 gift certificate from Tommy, and it's Bart Simpson dressed up as a girl, and I'm just like, this is too good. It's a great bit now. It's a great bit. Anyway, Tom Gazzola will be there tonight. We're going to give away a $50 gift certificate to Hudson's ourselves. Coming up here around 7:20 this morning. We'll have your Cool Bet hotline of the day coming up before 7:30. Just after 7:30 today, Damon Bunting, free advice. What do you need help with? We're going to dish out some advice. That's what we're here for, right? This is a nice little family here. We're in a safe zone. What do you need advice? What help do you need? We got you. We got you covered. So we'll get into that around 7:30 today. Andy Strickland, who does a great job covering the Blues, TV, radio, Chemistrick podcast, and has a good pulse on what's going on around the National Hockey League. Andy Strickland is going to join us around 7:45 today. And then the third hour of the show, even more jam-packed. Kind of easy trivia. 3 questions too many. That's a good for the Italian Center Shop. We're going to get into that. Greg Wyshynski from ESPN is going to join us. We'll have Lieutenant Eric's weekly rankings of power. Power. And the Orange and Blue Breakfast to get you ready for the Oilers and Blues. So like I said, I wasn't lying to you when I said we've got an absolutely jam-packed show. The good news, though, is that we still have time for your text messages. 780-218-9999. If you need a conch here in the inbox this morning, feel free to throw that in there as well.
Can I read one here?
Yes.
My husband is a goofball. You got it?
I'll read it too.
He has to listen to sports talk radio all day long. He just said if I wanted to text your program, then text. And he gave me this number. Please tell my husband, Royal Schmidt, that his wife says hi. He's originally from Edmonton, and he lives and breathes the Oilers. So,
good.
Yeah, I mean, a conch to Royal Schmidt and his wife. Maybe.
Where's the 480 area code? I'm not going to give out their whole number, but where's the 480?
Down south, I would assume. It's
What,
gotta be
hanging
down
out with
south.
Macramala somewhere?
Santa Clara County. South
Santa
of
Clara. Put it on the map.
Sunnyvale and Cupertino.
Put it on the map.
Alameda, Santa Cruz, Stanislaus counties.
Santa Clara.
Stanislaus. So they're down south. Maybe
That's
they
where
have
Steve Nash played college basketball at Santa Clara. What is
beat
going on here?
Maybe that's Macramala.
Maybe this guy moved down there just because he wanted to watch Steve Nash play at Santa Clara.
Probably.
And just never came back. Can we give a conch for this happy couple? Let's do that. Oh, this is a good one. Jocelyn is in and says, good morning, guys. I had some dental work done yesterday, and I'm a scaredy cat, so I got sedated. I was listening to the podcast as the drugs were starting to take effect. Took the show to a whole new level. Thanks for being there with me. Hey, we're happy to help you as you go into sedation. That's something we're good for. The Nielson Show. Get sedated.
Yeah, dentists do want the TV on. Yes, but only YouTube Trev's intros on a loop.
Well,
While you're getting sedated.
I always wonder about this. When you get sedated, how's your mouth stay open? Well, like you would think if like
pry it, keep it open with a.
They must have to use a special tool or something to keep your mouth open.
Sort of like a reverse trap. Like you just
I don't know if I'd be more afraid of the pain or being sedated. We had to watch the Muzz get sedated when she broke her arm. Scariest thing ever as a parent, seeing your kid just be like, ugh. And then come back up, and she was like, for 45 minutes, she was in and out, and I thought she was going nuts. So I don't know. Have you ever been sedated? Have you ever been put out?
Only by friends at house parties when we did it voluntarily.
Oh, yeah. I mean, who didn't do that back in the day?
Yeah, that was
hey,
the
can you
thing.
please choke me till I pass out? Oh, of course. This is going to be a great Wednesday night.
My bun buddy
in
started
1998.
convulsing. We were a little worried there, but no, never from like a medically induced.
How stupid!
Sedation.
How stupid were we?
We didn't
in
know.
like
We
the
didn't
late
know.
'90s, early
It was
2000s.
fun. Just trying to catch a high, It's
absolutely ridiculous. I'd like to text this one in. It's Norman at Combine says, "Good morning, Nasties. How about a conch to help heal my sore body?" It said door body. I was like, what is this about, Norm, you weirdo? Help me heal my sore body. 2 days of sledding in the mountains has almost wrecked me. Sledding on a snowmobile. That's cool.
Norman, a good picture on his, he had his ski do out yesterday. He's
look how far it hangs over the back of the truck. That's not safe.
There.
As a truck guy, I know that. That's not safe at all. Anyway, I've also never gone sledding. I've never been on a snowmobile in my life.
Really?
Yeah, never.
You from Cranbrook, British Columbia?
Yeah, well, we had we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of acres of land, but we just didn't have a snowmobile.
I thought you'd even be brand specific, like you mentioned Arctic Cat in your.
We were pretty basic farmers. Like we didn't have ATVs.
No,
we didn't have motorbikes to like buzz around on. We didn't have the snowmobiles in the winter.
Just horses.
Nothing. Just we would only ride horses everywhere. I'd ride a horse down to the bus stop every single morning.
A little mule. Take you down
very slow. I'd always be late for the bus because my mule was too slow. All right, let's get into your morning announcements for 100.3 The Bear. Edmonton's best rock. 100.3 The Bear. Listen to Yukon and McCord. I'll be on with them this morning. Now, I'm just going to slide in behind the curtain here. I pre-tape a hit with them prior to us going on, and then I think they air it around 6:45.
Edit it all out. Strip off the fat.
It's always one tape.
They
better not.
Half-hour
It's only like
conversation.
3.5 minutes.
Yeah, well,
I feel like they could probably fit it in. Anyway, you can listen to Yukon McCord over on The Bear. I think they're doing like their $10,000 secret sound or something again. I'm going to figure out the answer, then give it away on our show. And then pass it. That'd be real funny.
Hints, hey? EST hints?
Yeah. We should start qualifying for our Vegas trip, hopefully next week. And then we got something else fun coming down the pipeline, too, in the spring you're really going to love. I think that's going to be a lot of fun, too. But also listen to huge Edmonton Sports Talk supporter, Jess Jackson. Also 100.3 The Bear in the afternoons.
Driving you home.
FM radio, advertising on Edmonton Sports Talk. What a time to be alive. Morning announcements from last night. How about Vegas hanging 6 on the Toronto Maple Leafs last night? That's a shame. That's tough to see.
Win streak snapped.
That's what we call returning the favor, right? Because Toronto went out, did that in Vegas, and then Vegas came back and did it in Toronto, so they returned the favor that Toronto did to them in Vegas. The Winnipeg Jets doubled up St. Louis Blues. Blues played last night, rolling into town tonight. Lost 4-2 last night to the Winnipeg
on the bench,
Jets.
so it will be a
Gary Bettman, as we mentioned, was in Winnipeg, and says things are fine. But I would ask this quickly, and we'll get into this a little bit with Darren Dreger.
Did you think he was going to say things are like...
Well, yeah.
Man, this sucks.
Gary Bettman rolls into Winnipeg, sits down at a press conference, and goes, "Everybody panic!"
Yeah.
Like, that's not going to happen.
This is commissioner speak right here, hey?
So I do wonder, though, if everything is fine, why does the commissioner of the league need to go to Winnipeg to tell people everything is fine? Right?
Well,
I think they've got a really solid ownership group. Season tickets are down, 27% or something. They do have a good team in Winnipeg.
it's the corporate base, right? Isn't that kind of...
It's a tough corporate base in
It's a perfect
Winnipeg.
storm of a few other things, but there's a lot of corporate stuff in there that needs to be...
You need like businesses to go out and buy 20 season tickets.
Yeah.
And somebody else buys 20 season tickets, another company.
But it was
right?
just on a 1-year basis instead of But maybe he goes out there again. The sheriff's in town. Everything's fine. Maybe you just need an appearance from the sheriff just to settle things down. Maybe he feels that's what he needs to do in this moment.
I mean, Gary Bettman's been lying to us for 20 years
I know.
about everything.
I know.
Everything's fine in Arizona, too.
So if he says it's fine, then the opposite must be true.
I
don't know if that's where we're going with this.
I never even thought about that.
I mean, at this point, I would just say the opposite. Again, say everything's chaotic, and I would assume that everything's fine.
What say you on that front? Calgary topping the Los Angeles Kings. Tough trip to Alberta for the LA Kings as they end up losing to the Calgary Flames 4-2 last night.
Flames are heating up.
Colorado got by... You know who else is heating up? The Nashville Predators.
Yep.
Nashville Predators heating up
the seats
as well.
Yeah, the
6 in a
seats
row.
are getting taken here. 6 in a row, 4 in a row for the Flames, but 68 points both for the Preds and Kings. Flames on 63 and the Blues tonight on 62, so they're going to...
The Oilers only at 70.
Yeah.
I mean, it does look like you probably... Well, I guess there's a pretty good battle there. St. Louis, Nashville coming up.
Well, the Preds have gone... They're all been streaky. The Preds go on a bit of a streak, then they'll drop off in a losing streak. Flames, same type of thing. Kings have already... They've kind of been in that top spot the whole way, but Blues, Wild, were turning things on as of late. 7-2-1 in their past 10 still, so...
And Pittsburgh Penguins got by the Vancouver Canucks in overtime last night. 4-3, the final. Erik Karlsson, who's having not as impressive as offensive season as they hoped, got his 8th of the game in overtime. Sidney Crosby with a couple of assists in that one. Thatcher Demko, 40 shots against last night at the hands of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Stuart Skinner is going to start tonight for the Edmonton Oilers. Derek Ryan did not practice yesterday. Sam Gagner slid into that spot on the 4th line. We'll get into the Oilers and Blues a little bit more as we work our way through the show this morning. And did you see Alec Manoa? See what happened with Manoa yesterday?
Hey, he looks great.
He slimmed down.
Physically, he looks great.
He slimmed down. He's looking
Leave it at that.
He's looking lean.
You're looking real lean.
Looking lean.
Yeah.
Compared to usual. However, it was a tweet from Keegan Matheson that got me a little bit concerned about Alec Manoa yesterday. Plunks 3 batters in his first appearance of the spring.
4 earned runs, 3 hits, and a walk.
Well, that's it for Alec Manoa's first spring start. He hit 3 batters, allowed a couple of loud doubles on sliders over 1.2 innings pitched through 17 of his 38 pitches for strikes. So
that's when you get it's Grapefruit League season, and it's early in the Grapefruit League goes on for another good month.
Very early
tons of time to knock
in
this
the
stuff
preseason,
off.
if you want to call it that. Now, coming off the season that he came off last year, this probably shouldn't surprise you. Yeah, he slimmed down, but does that all of a sudden mean that it's just going to start throwing absolute smoke again immediately, right where it needs to be? Probably not. Now, you hope that mentally this one doesn't screw him up for the rest of preseason, and then you get into the regular season, you're like, well, what are you going to do with this guy?
And you could let it, but again, as I say, I think there's 2 sides to this coin. You say, it's day one of a lot of days here, right? You've slimmed down, best shape of his life, as Red text in. You get some rust off. This is what this full Grapefruit League, Cactus League season is for. It's not a week or 2. It's a full month.
Turns out pitching is more than just throwing the ball really, really, really hard. There's a lot more going on up there.
They call mechanics, the mechanics of pitching.
I think that's good. Hey guys, if the president called a press conference, or prime minister for this example, I guess the real Slim Davey who texts in, if the president called a press conference and said, just to let you all know, everything is fine, don't worry, thank you, I'd be pretty concerned. You know what I mean? Like, why do you call a press conference and be like, hey, everybody, everything's awesome?
I guess
don't worry about it.
The reasoning would be if everybody's panicking already, the leader then has to say, actually,
then you're coming to calm things down.
So then I would, and I don't think that, is there a degree of panic right now in Winnipeg? Like, I know there's a bit of concern.
It's like there's a discussion, obviously.
Yeah, a discussion. But do you have to go there then if people are just having a discussion? As you say, that kind of illustrates more of a point that there is something to be concerned about than not. It's just, they're talking about this, yeah, but there's nothing to it. Doesn't hold any water, so I don't need to go out there anyways and waste my time. But you had Orlesky down there. You had the high chairs.
Anytime Orlesky rolls in, you know it's a big deal.
Yeah, exactly.
You know it's a big deal. Those are your morning announcements for 100.3 The Bear. If you're still dabbling in the FM, they're your guys. You can listen to us on iHeart, on 2 people. A lot of good reaction to this iHeart stream, buddy. A lot of good reaction. We're getting texts. I'm getting texts from buddies. We're getting texts on the show saying that listening on iHeart is a very smooth experience, and it sounds as crisp and clear as FM radio.
They heart it.
So that's real nice. If you've not yet downloaded the iHeart app, and you can listen to the show now on iHeart Radio. You can listen to the show on TuneIn. You can listen to the show at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Or my wife told me yesterday that that's where she still listens. She still just opens up the website every morning, listens over there. Avalon watches on YouTube,
the OG
obviously,
hits,
as well,
yeah.
because she just can't take her eyes off me. That's why she watches.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, at least buy into it a little bit, right? Like, thanks, man. Yeah. The Chipman Gooser,
yes,
who I think claims to be the real 7,000th subscriber,
of course,
on YouTube. The Chipman. By the way, if you are watching on YouTube right now, subscribe. Give us a sub. Let's go. Let's push us up towards 7,100 subs. We're just over halfway to 7,100 from 7,000. So give us a sub if you like the content. Somebody last night, I get like notifications. I got to turn these notifications off, but I get like notifications when we get like comments on YouTube channel. Somebody was like, how does this channel only have 7,000 subs? This is the best sports talk going. I was like, wow, thank you, sir. Thank you. So tell your friends. The Chipman Gooser is in. Good morning, boys. Taking my 8 and 9-year-old to their first game tonight. Conch for the Oil putting on another good show this evening. Enjoy that. That's a special experience. You only get to take your kids to the first game once. Hopefully the others deliver for you. That's how many people are going to their first game every game, right? There's always people going to their first game every game.
Yeah.
And it's like when you
even
lay
those
a dud, you
games
feel
are
bad.
like, oh, the Wild are coming. Oh, it's the Blues or something. No, people are driving from out of town tonight, guaranteed. At least a handful of people driving, making a trip, spending lots of money. This is their Stanley Cup tonight.
The first time I went to a Montreal Canadiens game when I was a teenager, I was in Calgary, and Brian Savage had a hat trick, and it made my day. Like that was my first NHL game ever. Brian Savage, it must have been like in October or November because he would score like 30 goals in the first 6 weeks and then not again forever, and then he'd get injured in like February. This is how it happened pretty much every year. But that was special. I mean, you didn't leave your very first game disappointed. So if the Edmonton Oilers, and I'm assuming as a team they're watching this morning, go out and win one for those two kids tonight.
My first Oilers game was Taylor Hall with a hat trick against the Atlanta Thrashers.
What? Who was in net for the Thrashers?
I don't
Kari
recall.
Lehtinen?
Norm Miracle.
Oh, Norm Miracle. Nice Norm
Former
Miracle job.
Saskatoon Blade. No, I don't recall kind of the details, but yeah, it's a banner afternoon and a matinee as well.
H.E. Pennypacker is in. Guys, the Bettman thing, it's like when your wife says everything is fine, and you're just like, it's not fine, but she's saying everything is fine.
You can hear the tone here.
Is
as
that
well.
is that the feed that you're that you're getting?
Your wife also shakes her head, bobbles it.
Yeah.
Everything is fine.
Mullet Arena.
T. Wilson, hey guys, can I get a conch for the wife? Today is our 11th wedding anniversary.
Wow, 11 years. Nice work. I see Strummy in the Nasty Chat saying with Chipman Gooser, 7,000. What a handle. Yeah. The Chipman Gooser is a great handle. It's almost as good as the guy who texts in. Usually, like during the noon hour shows, his handle's the loser. We have this text from the loser today. It's that's a really good
Chipman
one.
Gooser 7,000 like some sort of a machine you'd buy at Canadian Tire.
That 100%. Yeah.
I want one.
This week for only $599, pick yourself up a Chipman Gooser.
The 7,000 model. Ooh. No, you have to go to the Windermere location for that. I'm sorry, sir.
That's a good one. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Pound that inbox today. Guys, I'll never forget my first NHL game. Late 70s, maybe early 80s in Calgary in the old Stampede Corral. Montreal Canadiens in town to play the Flames. Flames were brand new. Gila...
Yeah.
It's funny how it's spelled. It must have autocorrected to Gila Fleur. Gila Fleur.
Gila.
Put the puck.
I think the G is silent. Gila Fleur.
Between Pekka Ratikello's legs to score the tying goal late in the third. I think it ended 4-4. My dad took me. I'll never forget that. That's in from John today. First NHL game stories. We probably don't have time for all of them, but I'd like to sneak in a few more here in the 6 o'clock hour if you want. I also will never see Guy Lafleur the same way now after seeing it autocorrected to Gila space capital Fleur. That's too good. I like that one. We got Tales of the North coming up here on the other side. Jam-packed show. Darren Dreger, Andy Strickland, Greg Wyshynski on the way here on Edmonton Sports Talk this morning. We have the Hangout coming up a little bit later on today with Matthew Awanek, the Lock Shop with myself and Huss, the NHL and golf episode today of the Lock Shop, and then the Oil Stream with myself and Tommy Gazzola here on a game day against the St. Louis Blues. What are you expecting from the Oilers against the Blues tonight? Hit us up at 780-218-9999. I says pardon still to come here before 7 o'clock, and if you need a 6 o'clock hour conching, you know how to do it. 780-218-9999 or on YouTube on the Nasty Chat, and take care of you there. Let's get to a sports update for Green Plan with Lieutenant Eric.
Busy night in the National Hockey League. Jonathan Marchessault with a pair of goals. Vegas snapping a 3-game skid with a 6-2 win over Toronto. Flames double up the Kings 4-2. Calgary have won 4 straight. Erik Karlsson with the overtime winner. Penguins outlasting the Canucks 4-3. Preds have won 6 in a row following a 4-1 win over Ottawa, and the Avalanche easing past the Stars 5-1. Jets, meanwhile, over the Blues 4-2. Winnipeg have won 4 straight, reclaiming a share of top spot in the Central. The Edmonton Oilers wrap up a 5-game homestand tonight against those Blues. You can join Tom Gazzola. He'll be at Hudson's on White for the Oil Stream pre- and post-game shows. Coverage beginning at 5 o'clock here on EdmontonSportsTalk.com, the TuneIn Radio app, the iHeartRadio app, and on YouTube. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with 31 points as the Thunder top the Rockets 112-95 in NBA action. OKC have won 6 in a row. They're tied atop the West with Minnesota. East leading Celtics, meanwhile, pick up their 9th straight win, 117-99 over Philly. Raptors are back on the court tonight. They'll host Dallas in one of 6 games, while the Clippers take on the Lakers in another installment of the Battle of Los Angeles. Oil Kings, they're on the road for a pair. They visit the Hitman leader this morning and the Tigers on Friday. AJHL last night, Calgary all over Canmore 6-1. Pair of games tonight. Whitecourt hosts Grand Prairie, while Drayton Valley visit Olds. Toronto defeating Minnesota 4-3 in overtime in PWHL action. Lone game tonight, we'll see Ottawa at home to New York. And Alec Manoa hitting 3 batters during just over an inning's work yesterday. His spring training debut. He also allowed 4 earned runs, 3 hits, and a walk in a 6-4 loss to the Tigers. Jays' Grapefruit League schedule continues later this morning against the Rays. The club are set to open the regular season March 28th down in Tampa. Sports update for Green Plan. With construction season coming up around the corner, planning season already in full swing. For all of your environmental planning needs, you can contact Green Plan Environmental Consultants. Green Plan can assist with any of your environmental concerns, no matter how big or small the project. Green Plan is here to help. Check them out today, green-plan.com.
What say you? Hey, nasty crew. We got the Nielson Show flu, and there's nothing we can do about it. What say you? Hey, nasty crew. My wife thinks I got better things to do, but there's nothing I can do about it. We're tuning in on TuneIn, we're listening online. We catch up with the podcast when we fall behind. We're texting in the nasty chat, what's on our mind. 780-218-9999. No more interference from corporate interest. Just Dusty and Eric and all of the bad cats like Wyshysnki and Noodles. Gadget can gauge it, maybe slip over to Cool Band to make a little wager. We can't wait for the Monday Mandate. Sharky's always on time, Tommy's always late.
Would you like a cup of tea?
Forget about the old place. Hey, we were number 1 in the text race. We don't miss all the commercial breaks, but we sure miss Nickelback today. We wanna hear some hot takes and we wanna hear Renee. Why not hold the neck up when I wanna kiss away? Beat left the tire fire and remember that name. We love every goal song, but what about the Canes? Macramel, Rapaport, Dreger, Engineer. It ain't Christmas season, but they sound like reindeer. Button and my cousin and the tales of the North. All about him give a person, Dusty go forth. What say you? AM Nasty crew. We got the Nielson Show flu, and there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do about it. Yeah, everybody's got the AM nasty flu. Nielson Show coming at you from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studio. Where you can go get your hands on the delicious Popeyes chicken sandwich. Every time I have one, it's like first time all over again. I'm always like, oh man, look at this. This bread sure is soft. Oh my God, this chicken sure is crispy.
Fall in love.
The chicken inside is so juicy. Like, I don't get it. Ed, I usually don't like pickles on things, but pickles on the Popeyes chicken sandwich, man, it's just meant to be.
It cuts the heat with the sweet.
It's match made in heaven.
Yep.
That's what that is. Get it at all Popeyes locations.
Pickle in.
You know what? I was just putting on the Tales of the North cloth, and I put my right arm in first, and for the life of me, I just couldn't operate trying to put my left arm in. I had to take it off, then put my left arm in, and then my right arm in. Is that like, I guess that's how I put everything on my whole life. It's always just like right arm first or left arm first and then over. But I was standing here. I was like, man, I can't figure this out. I don't know how to use my left arm second.
These shawls or capes are a little tricky sometimes too.
Yeah, well, the hole's like partway down.
You don't know if it's inside out or outside.
It must have been a real pain in the butt getting dressed back in like the 1600s.
Oh, all that metal?
Hey,
Those
you have
metal
to put on
boots
all
and
that
metal
stuff. You got the
chain
underlayer.
mail and then all that to carry a flag. If you're
and that's it. Yeah, you're only a flag guy.
Imagine that.
I wonder if you come out and being a flag guy in like a 1600s war, because like, are you going to die?
Well, you can't abandon your post.
But do all your buddies like chirp you because you're like, hey, nice flag, loser?
Yeah. But if somebody attacks you, what do you just...
Yeah.
You can't defend yourself because you have to hold the
Imagine
flag.
if you killed somebody with your flag, you'd be a hero. That'd be a tale that would be told for the rest of your days. That'd be pretty good. I don't know. I don't know if I'd rather be in the battle or be flag guy. I'm probably too big to be flag guy.
I wouldn't mind being like a trumpet horn guy, like doing the...
Yeah. Or the drum guy at the back of the...
That'd be pretty neat, yeah.
Boom, boom, boom.
Keeping
boom.
the beat.
It's very intimidating. Yeah.
You dictate the war pretty much.
Like in the
The
cartoon,
speed and pace
Robin Hood. I think the rhinoceros is around the drums.
The
It is
cartoon
pretty
Robin
good.
Hood.
I
like
love
where
it.
this
That's
is
my
going.
favorite cartoon of all time. It really is.
What are we doing on the show today?
All right, let's refocus here. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Let's get to a few more of your text messages. Nasty chat, you can chime in over there as well. Hey, give us a thumbs up if you're watching this morning.
Yeah, let's
hammer the thumbs up.
That's at 200 today. I'm feeling
Yeah,
Wednesday.
too many of you are rolling in here just watching the show and leaving and not hammering the thumbs up. Just hammer that thumbs up for us.
Getting a little lazy here. I don't want to.
Yeah, I think that's
Well,
but that might be what happens a little bit, right? You just want to tune in and watch, and that's
sets in.
fine. But you don't want to hammer the thumbs up. All we're asking for is a little thumbs up over here, or a sub if you haven't subbed yet.
it's the first thing I do every day. I crack that YouTube page.
I haven't even done it yet.
Thumbs
You know,
up.
I'm going to do it.
Come
I'm going
on,
to do it.
yeah.
There we go. I
There
just
we
did
go.
it too.
Simple.
Hit the thumbs up. It's very simple. It took me that long. That was it. Darren Dreger, Andy Strickland in hour number 2. Free advice also in hour number 2. Greg Wyshynski, that's a good. Weekly rankings of power and much, much more on the way in hour number 3 today as the Edmonton Oilers get the St. Louis Blues. The Blues losing last night against the Winnipeg Jets in Winnipeg, rolling in here for a quick turnaround. And let's get you set here for Tales of the North. Lieutenant Eric, you feeling pretty good about this? Well, this wig is right up in my face today. That's okay.
Ready to go to war, Dustin.
Oh, he is. He's prepared for battle, my liege. That's a good saying, my liege. But what's it mean, really?
Determined.
Is not determined. All right, we got the Oilers and the St. Louis Blues tonight. Let's get in. Let's get after it here with Tales of the North.
Who owns the North? Who owns the North? Show me!
Tell them Edmonton remembers. Tell them winter is coming for House Bannister.
Tonight in the North, the latest home campaign for the mighty Oil comes to a close with one more battle looming. The same group of warriors who once claimed the Great One as their own look to leave thy home brigade crying the blues. Connor the Incredible, Apple Master, a passer's passer, the Duke of Dishing, a sorcerer of the sauce, the feeder of filthiness, he who ignores the cries of the peasants to shoot and says, goals, who needs them? I shall do it with my mates by my side. May the Schneid be warned. May the Schneid be prepared. May the Schneid be damned. For 'tis McDavid the Marvelous who leaves it behind this eve. These are the tales of the North, and may they be heard far and wide across this great land.
A Bannister always loses to the Jets.
Tales of the North.
Debts, Jets. Yeah.
Yeah. Loses, pays his debts. You're really all over this Lannister-Bannister
It's
thing
too
today.
good. It
I
writes
appreciate
itself,
it.
man.
I
It's
appreciate
great.
the
Yeah,
commitment
yeah.
to it. I appreciate the commitment. That's real nice.
The Gretzky stuff, I almost keeled over in my chainmail.
The great one.
Well, I just
Once claimed the great one for his own.
those jerseys. Hey, I kind of took me back there.
So here are the names I came up with Connor McDavid as a passer. And if you have additional ones, feel free to text them in. Apple Master. A passer's passer. That's always a good one. He's a shooter. He's a passer's passer. The Duke of Dishing. A sorcerer of the sauce. I think that was probably my favorite one. The feeder of filthiness. Right? Feeding guys with filthy passes. And he who ignores the cries of the peasants, who would be those of you who pay to watch him play. The cries of the peasants to shoot. Shoot. Oh, probably knows what he's doing. But still, that was a fun one. Get you ready for the Oilers and the St. Louis Blues tonight. Zulu's in and says, smash that 97 goal prop right now. right now. It's got to happen tonight, right? How many times? I've
No,
said this for about 6 games now. It's like he's got to get one tonight.
He can do it whenever he wants. And as long as they're winning and as long as he's the Apple machine, I do love the dry humor from McDavid, knowing that he can flick the switch just whenever.
Part of me thinks he's not scoring goals to drive his goal prop number up.
Sure.
And he's going to get it to like plus 120.
He's in full control here.
And then under the radar, bet $1 million on himself to score a goal and go out and get one. Or get that number at over 1.5 and go out and bury a couple of bingos.
He's calling the shots here. Don't you worry.
This is a good one. Rob from LA. How did I not think of this one? The dealer of dimes. That's a good one too. Thank you, Rob from LA. Thank you very much. Pound that thumbs up. Strawberries in says, Tier 1 peasants.
Tier 1, yes.
Bob Gramlich. Hey, Gramlich. What's up? He says, on iHeartRadio, I can find Nielson Show past episodes to play, but how can you find the live feed? Anyone? Well, I'm pretty sure if you just go on there, Bob, and search Edmonton Sports Talk.
What's he on the iHeart?
Yeah, because he's searching iHeart. He's probably searching the Nielson Show, and it's just coming up as a podcast page.
Yeah.
Search Edmonton Sports Talk on iHeart.
Yeah.
And then click Edmonton Sports Talk, and you get all of our content live 24/7.
I think it's the top. When you search Edmonton Sports Talk, it's the top search result.
Your clear choice. Clear choice.
Exactly.
For Edmonton Sports. The hero of helpers. Jeff on the farm. That's a good one, too.
I like that.
That's a good one, too. I got a lot of time for that one as well. Morning, boys. First Oilers game was in the 80s against the Islanders. I got Jim Corsi's goal stick that night. Unfortunately, the stick was destroyed in a flood a few years back. Darren on Jasper Ave. Oh, my goodness. Your Jim Corsi goalie stick got ruined in a flood? Did you not have it in its proper case?
You're not making that story up.
Do you know how much you probably could have sold the Jim Corsi stick for when Corsi got the bump?
The analytics crowd would be.
Yeah.
I mean, that's.
I'm assuming you probably, when you got the stick, you know what? I'm going to save it for when Corsi gets the big bump.
What's that Marvel thing with the glove? It's one of those.
The thing that they snap.
Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh, there it is.
That's the Infinity Corsis. Like that's
the one.
It's the top weapon, right? Like,
that's the number one piece right there. That'd have been nice. (780-218-9999) 780-218-9999. Edmonton Oilers yesterday at practice looked like things were going to be the same outside of Derek Ryan not being on the ice yesterday. Stuart Skinner between the pipes. The Oilers are 9-2-1 in their last 12 games at home. This is important. I was talking about this with the guys on the Bear this morning when they were talking about this game. This is like this, you have to salvage the homestand with this. If you lose tonight, even in overtime or in a shootout, the homestand is a major disappointment. Even if they win tonight, some of you might think the homestand is a major disappointment, going 500 on a 5-game stretch at home. You want to be better than that. I don't think I would classify it as a major disappointment, even if with the win tonight and they get 5 of a possible 10 points.
Still remain in third.
You wanted 6, preferably 7. I mean, a perfect world would be more. You're kind of right where you were going into the homestand, right? You're still sitting, what'd you say? They're still sitting there.
They're smack. There's one other game tonight. I mean, they still have 3 in hand on the Golden Knights, who did win last night, but they're 3 points back of Vegas with 3 games in hand. So that picture stayed the same. Kings, of course, losing last night. Oilers have 2 games in hand on them and are 2 points up on them. So everything's important, but if it does go awry tonight, if you get a point, yeah, maybe the homestand's not successful, but it's not like we're flying in Gary Bettman level of panic here.
No,
you know,
no, I don't think so.
You're still kind of you're in a spot here, and
but what a disappointing. Homestand if they lose tonight. I mean,
I think we were all
one win out of
more.
a possible 5 when everybody was kind of expecting you to get at least 3.
Yeah.
And some of you were dreaming maybe they got 4 here or something.
But then you have back-to-back Saturday afternoon in Seattle and back home Sunday evening against the Pittsburgh Penguins. So
that's just a weird trip out to Seattle. And that's
back-to-back an afternoon into the Sunday evening, which they don't have a lot of so far this season. But yeah, you'd kind of like to have some good mojo going off this 5-game homestand heading into that back-to-back.
Tonight's game is a second of 3 meetings between the two clubs. Blues obviously taking that first one back on February 15th by a score of 6-3. They will meet one more time on April 1st. Oh, April Fool's Day. That'll be a bunch of fun jokes. That'll be a bunch of fun jokes that day. We should cut to dead air at some point that day. And that's our April Fool's joke. Is that we've been shut down again? Would that be something? That'd be pretty good. The Oilers have 26 games in their next 51 days. 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. The real not so slim shady text in today. It says, YouTube Trev sounds like he just woke up, still half cut. Trev, that's not true, is it? I mean, you've been up for
I'm wide awake, boys. What is he talking about?
I don't know. This he's fired up over there. He's
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Guys, I hope that Jim Corsi stick was insured properly. I mean, if you don't have your stuff insured, what are we even doing here? Connor McSelfless, that's in from the Buff Puffin. McDavid, the Biscuit Bandito. That's a good one
Biscuit
too.
Bandito.
The Biscuit Bandito. That's a pretty good one as well. Pat Maroons Bib says, how is Connor Brown goal prop only plus 660 and Ekholm's is plus 730? Well, because, Brown's been all around it. Right? It's because so close so many times. That must be it. I like the odds makers buying into the theory of he's due. So they're lowering the number a little bit.
The Sultan of Secondaries from Surveyor Brett.
That's a good one.
Anytime you can incorporate Sultan, I don't mind
Sultan's
that as well.
a good one,
Sultan's very strong.
Sultan's, in general, real nice one.
Yeah.
Real nice one. Hookie is in and says, guys, TSN Toronto are saying McDavid shouldn't even get nominated for the Hart Trophy. They're saying the finalists should be Kucherov, McKinnon, and Matthews. I don't know if you want me to get angry about that, but I'm not. I mean,
they're trying.
Connor McDavid, to me, should always be in the mix for the Hart Trophy, and I'm sure he is. But Kucherov and McKinnon have more points.
Yes.
Austin Matthews is going to score 70-plus goals.
Horrid pace.
I mean, those three guys deserve to be in there. It's that simple right now.
But McDavid's physical play, I think that gets you.
We're going to count hits in the Hart Trophy discussion. Trevor, what do you think?
Matthews is on pace for, over 70 goals, which hasn't been done since 93, 94, I believe. And
92, 93.
92, 93.
Mogilny and Solani.
What's more impressive, 70 goals or, Connor McDavid's on pace for 100 assists? What's more impressive? Because there's been 14 players to ever reach 70 goals, but only for assists, for 100 assists in a season, only 3 players have ever done it. Lemieux, and Wayne Gretzky, of course. So that's one thing I was looking at. I did a video on that.
I'd still say 70 goals is more impressive than 100.
It's definitely a lot harder to score, right, than get apples. But, I mean, the fact that only 3 players have ever done it, it's pretty impressive. I think, I get it, though. And unless McDavid does something crazy, just pops off and he does become the leading leader in points and has 100 apples this year.
If he finishes with 100 assists and wins the Art Ross, then he's going to be a finalist for the Hart Trophy. I mean, that's just, I would think that's probably how it is. But as of right now, I don't think we can all get infuriated that people out east think that McKinnon, Kucherov, and Austin Matthews should be in the final for the Hart Trophy, final nominees. I mean, it's a long way to go still. Technically, I mean, in the end, there really is. They still got a bunch of games to play. We'll see how this plays out.
There's one trophy they're playing for. Let them have the individual awards.
That's
right?
the other point.
We
talked about that a month ago. When
getting into arguments and
and
debates, it's good for them, and I get it. And you want your players and your star players to be proud and represent the team. But this is, I think, let them have it. Let TSN Toronto talk what they want to talk.
JCD 780 makes a good point. McDavid has a ton of secondary assists this year. The goals are more impressive. I mean, there are 2 assists.
The Sultan of Secondaries.
The Sultan of Secondaries. Yeah, that's a good one too. So I would side with the 70 goals. I know it's Austin Matthews. I defended the dude last week against haters, but if he gets to 70, I mean, it's a very valid conversation that he could be in. With that being said, Connor McDavid get 200 assists would absolutely be phenomenal as well. 780-218-9999. But like we said, who was in the Lukey or whatever the name on that one was? We've said for years that the others, you trade all those individual trophies to take a run on the Stanley Cup. So when a guy doesn't get nominated for an individual trophy, I don't know how the same city can be like, oh, well, what's going on here? Right? You want to win the Stanley Cup? You hope these guys maybe dial it in a little bit defensively, which they did during the streak. It's kind of fallen away a little bit since then.
Yeah, you can have conversations about it, but in any shape or form, I wouldn't be kind of letting it dictate my emotions regarding the season and everything. I mean, just focus on the top prize.
780-218-9999. We will get to a few more of your text messages as we work our way through the show this morning. I got to get to this one, though. Guys, would you say that Corsi Stick didn't pass the eye test? That's a good one. Kid Thunder coming in hot to the inbox today. Would you say that Corsi Stick didn't pass the eye test?
Hey.
Well done, Kid Thunder. Could get yourself in the mix for that A&W text of the day. Piri Piri Buddy Burgers. Available now. Kid Thunder. Trying to get himself a little A&W GC. Keep those text messages rolling in. 780-218-9999. Let's get into I Says Pardon. I Says Pardon brought to you by Lawyer Central. Clean slate, affordable rate. What else do you need to know? If you made a mistake, got a little criminal record for something you did back in the day, and you're just, I can't go through the process. It's too difficult. I don't know what I'm doing. Get a pardon. www.lawyer-central.com/pardons or call 1-888-288-8177, 1-888-288-8177 to find out more about getting a pardon. They've got lawyers all across the country. Dare I say coast to coast. You can go get that pardon, and they will they'll help you get back on track.
No judgments, no embarrassments.
Oh, guys, I can't come on this trip. I have a pardon. I can't go to that country. Sorry, guys, I can't work with you. I have a record here. Well, get a pardon.
Yeah,
start working and traveling with your friends again.
That's how he.
Yeah, he'd been waiting for years to get down south, Eric Macramala. Okay, so this one I find interesting. The Philadelphia Flyers last night hanging 6 on the Tampa Bay Lightning. It was not a banner night for Andrei Vasilevsky. But the Philadelphia Flyers hanging 6 on them, and they outshot them 31-22. The Philadelphia Flyers are 3rd in their division right now. They're playoff bound. Like the Philadelphia Flyers are like 6 or 7 points up on a playoff spot. The Philadelphia Flyers are playoff bound, and we're still acting like they're a bottom of the barrel seller. And everybody's like, "Oh, just take all the Flyers."
They're supposed to be. They're going to fall off at some point. Surely.
I says, pardon. Everybody's like, "Oh yeah." Yeah, the Oilers are going to take Scott Lawton. They're going to take Sean Walker. Hell, they should take Travis Konechny as well.
I mean, with the Lightning occupying wild card 2, maybe it's we look to Tampa to do a little shopping.
Well, like when was the last time a team in a top 3 playoff spot in their division were selling at the deadline? I asked this. If you have an answer, I'm curious. Like, when was the last time a team that is destined for the playoffs, even if they weren't expected to be destined for the playoffs? When's the last time that they were just completely, hey, come take everything that we've got because we don't want to make the playoffs this year. We want to trade all of our guys for futures. And in the end, I mean, if the perfect spot for Philly, like in long-term development, would probably be to miss the playoffs and trade some pieces for some good picks. But they're not in that spot. They're sitting here 3rd in their division today. They are playoff bound. Why are the Philadelphia Flyers going to trade everybody away for draft picks? I says pardon? It doesn't necessarily add up because that's not what teams in those spots do. It's like if you look at all these other teams, Oilers fans always are like, well, let's get this guy from there and let's get this guy from here. Well, why are some of these teams want to move these guys? I know you can put together a list of 50. Hell, why stop at 50? Put together 100 names that could be traded prior to the deadline. Wow. That's what I want. I want the 100-player deep trade bait board.
Rank them all.
The whole thing.
McDavid will be on the list, albeit low, but he'll be on the list.
Top to bottom, the whole league.
The whole league. Well, okay, I'll ask you this.
Give us your list, cowards.
Dustin Nielson, what is your cutoff line then? The Flyers, yes, 3rd in that the Tampa Bay Lightning, as I mentioned, even on points with 69, the occupy wildcard spot too. If the Flyers aren't shipping pieces away, then why are the Flames at 63 and 5 points out of a spot with
why would they?
Winners of 4 in a row? I'm just saying, what is your time where you pull the chute?
Well, I'm not pulling the chute if you're 3rd in the Metro and 5 points up on a playoff spot.
Sure, but what
are you telling your fan base if you just say, hey, there's a really good chance we can make the playoffs, but the Oilers really want Scott Lawton, so let's help them out.
But do you pull the chute in wild card 2 spot, or do you? I mean, if you're in the mix even by a hair or a point, you keep everything. You don't sell.
That's a tough pill to swallow for your fans.
I know,
and your roster, who's been busting their balls all year to try to get into the playoffs.
But in running a business and kind of thinking for the future and everything, like it is tough. I'm just asking you, what's the what's the cutoff point? Because I think the Lightning right now in a wild card spot.
Like, if the Washington Capitals right now,
like the Devils are looking to add.
They should be selling pieces.
Devils aren't even a wild card spot. They should be selling off, not looking to add.
But look what happened with the Devils last year.
The
Devils were a really good team last year.
Right. But are the Flyers, like, I'm just saying, like, yeah, you get in the playoffs, but are you gonna make noise then? Like, the Devils are out of the playoffs today, but we're thinking of them as a playoff team. Where, again, the Flyers, I don't think of them as a playoff team, and they're sitting third. So you're gonna go into your group that's been you clearly want to win. Look who you hired as your head coach. Everybody wants to win, yeah.
Right? Look who you're not. The Flyers aren't sitting here saying, "Oh, we want to mail in." The Flyers are having maybe one of the most surprising seasons in the National Hockey League this year. You're the general manager of that club, and you've been through like the Carter Hart thing. You've lost your goalie, and your team's still kind of grinding along here. And you're gonna go into that group and be like, "Hey, sorry guys, but if your contract's expiring, you're out of here." I know you guys have done really well, and you've completely exceeded expectations. I mean, they could do that. But that's a tough message to send to everybody. I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe and as I said in my notes here, I said like you could somewhat in some way justify it, but it's very rare to see a team who's third in their division and likely heading to the playoffs become full-blown sellers at the deadline. So I says pardon. I just saw them hang 6 on Tampa last night. I'm like, why would Philadelphia trade these guys?
But if you're saying in a generational talent is set to be picked first overall, and you're one of the 2 teams battling it out for the final spot, are you trying to like compete and win? If you,
I would still try to compete and win because what are your chances of getting that pick?
I know
0.08%, 0.8%. I just don't know how you sell it to the team that's
it's like tough to be in that
the Philadelphia
zone,
Flyers, with the expectations they had coming in, were where the Devils are, 5 points back. I would probably be like, I'd be like, yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah. But they're 5 points up on a playoff spot and currently occupying third in the Metropolitan.
But I would be more apt to say that the Devils would have more playoff success right now than the Flyers if it started today. Why, I don't know. Just looking at
I don't think I would this year.
Fair enough,
I mean, the Flyers just continue to
defy expectations.
You know how many times I've bet against the Flyers this season? They screw me every single time.
But should the Flames then be selling, I guess? Winners of 4 in a row, 7-3 in their last 10, and breathing down the neck of a wild card spot. Like, what do you do in that spot?
How many points are they out?
5 points out, with a game in hand on Nashville today. 5 points out on both the Kings and Preds, both tied on 68. Like, I'm just wondering what you...
There's a big difference between 5 points out and 5 points in. And when you've been out the entire season and when you've been in the entire season.
But you've been chasing.
Right? It's not like the Flyers all of a sudden got hot in the last 2 weeks
they stuck
and
around.
are into a playoff spot. They've just been basically sitting third in that division all season.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. What say you? 780-218-9999. This one is in from Dennis. It happens all the time, Dusty. They even made a movie about it. It's called Major League.
Dennis.
Good text, Dennis. Good text. That's to the Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999. Anyway, that's I says pardon for lawyer-central.com/pardons. And we'll get into it as we continue working away. Like if they can trade one of their upcoming free agents for another roster player and like give the team a warm body and be like, hey, we think this guy helps us a little bit better in the future and we think he can help us out. Like I understand that aspect of it. But to just straight up tear your roster apart when you're 5 points into a playoff spot right now.
But a little temptation if that was the plan at the beginning of the season for management. Like if you had a feeling that maybe it's not going to go the way we.
At the beginning of the year of I don't think so.
Okay, no, fair enough.
I think they're all too competitive to be like, man. Even with our success this year, we still got to bail on everything. I don't know. Oilers and Blues tonight. Darren Dreger coming up here just after 7 o'clock. Andy Strickland, Greg Wyshynski also on the show today. Free advice, cool bet hotline of the day. Chance to win a Hudson's gift certificate also coming up here in hour number 2. Right now, let's get to a sports rewind with Lieutenant Eric.
Busy night in the NHL last night. It was the Avalanche over the Stars 5-1. Preds, winners of 6 straight following a 4-1 win over Ottawa. Penguins over the Canucks 4-3 in overtime. Flames double up the Kings 4-2. And the Golden Knights snapping a 3-game slide with a 6-2 win over Toronto. Meanwhile, out in Winnipeg, it was the Jets over the Blues 4-2. The Oilers will wrap up a 5-game homestand tonight against those Blues. Tom Gazzola will have your Oil Stream pre- and post-game shows live from Hudson's on White, coverage beginning at 5 o'clock right here on EdmontonSportsTalk.com, the TuneIn Radio app, the iHeartRadio app, and on YouTube. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with 31 points. OKC over the Rockets, 112-95. The Thunder have won 6 in a row and are tied for tops with Minnesota in the West. The East leading Celtics winning their 9th straight with a 117-99 win over Philly. Raptors back on the court tonight. They host Dallas in one of 6 games. Also, the Clippers will take on the Lakers from LA. Oil Kings hit the road for a pair. They will visit the Hitmen later this morning. Puck drop 11 o'clock, and the Tigers on Friday night. AJHL from last night. Calgary all over Canmore 6-1. Pair of games tonight. Whitecourt hosts Grand Prairie, while Drayton Valley visit Olds. Toronto over Minnesota 4-3 in overtime in the PWHL. One game tonight. We'll see Ottawa at home to New York. And Alec Manoa hitting 3 batters during just over an inning's work in his first spring training appearance yesterday. He also allowed 4 earned runs, 3 hits and a walk, and a 6-4 loss to the Tigers. Jays Grapefruit League continues later this morning against the Rays. The club are set to open the regular season March 28th down in Tampa. Sports Rewind brought to you by Universal Rewind. Just as F1 teams rely on the box call to ensure their cars remain competitive, your industrial operation can benefit from a proactive approach to maintaining your electric motors. Contact Universal Rewind today to ensure your podium finish.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
.703 on the Nielson Show. Dustin Nielson and Lieutenant Eric with you. We're coming at you from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studio in Edmonton. It is minus 20 right now. Man, I didn't feel like minus 20 to me. Last night when I was driving home, I was here late yesterday doing a bunch of stuff. I was driving home like around 7:30, and I had my window down for part of it. I don't know if I'm a sick puppy here.
Smoking again, are you? Hey,
yeah, no, I didn't. I just was like, maybe I had the heat on too much on the truck. I pulled up like to a stoplight, and I had my window down. I had my arm like on the edge. The person looked at me like I was nuts because I had my toque on and my gloves, but I had the window down. I was like, hey, what's up? Like
-8 today, -5 tomorrow, and then it gets
starting to warm up
cold again for the weekend, though. It's just a 2-dayer where we kind of bounce back up.
These are January temperatures.
Bounce back down. You're right.
January temperatures into early March.
Eating like a lion, right?
More snow on the forecast, too.
For sure.
Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. Stay patient, everybody. Stay patient, drive safe, and everything should be okay. Everything should be okay. We're going to have Darren Dreger pop by. Trav, let us know if Dregs is he's good to go. Okay, we'll get to Dregs in a sec. Let's lay out the second hour of the show here for you this morning. We will give you a chance to win a Hudson's gift certificate coming up. Tommy's going to have the pregame show and postgame show from Hudson's on White Ave tonight here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Free advice for Damon Bunting on the way as well. We'll have your Cool Bet hotline of the day. And Andy Strickland, who obviously covers the St. Louis Blues extremely well. He's going to join us around 7:45 to help set up this game tonight between the Oilers and the Blues. Blues dropping one last night in Winnipeg where Gary Bettman was. So we'll get into that for sure. Darren Dreger, our hockey insider today, brought to you by Pro-Am Sports. Check them out at proamsports.ca. They have signing coming up with Kevin McClellan, 4-time Stanley Cup champion. Deadline on that one is this weekend. Also signings with Dylan Holloway and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins available right now over at proamsports.ca. Let's bring in Darren Dreger this morning. Drags, good morning. How you doing, man?
Not too bad. How are you guys?
We are doing just fine. St. Louis Blues rolling into town. They were in Winnipeg last night, as was the commish. What'd you think of Gary Bettman rolling into Winnipeg, saying everything's fine, but obviously they'd like to see a little bit of a season ticket bump out there?
Yeah, and look, I mean, he said, being the commissioner, that there was no messaging required here, that the Winnipeg Jets are a stable organization. In the eyes of many across the National Hockey League, a model organization in terms of how the team has run. And I would agree with that to a point. But I also did a lengthy sit down with one of the owners of the Winnipeg Jets, Mark Chipman, prior to the start of the season, around that time. And, there's a high level of concern. Their season ticket base has dropped to an uncomfortable level, and they've made it abundantly clear that they need roughly 13,000, somewhere in that vicinity, to stay as viable competitively as they can. This isn't about a fear issue. Like, it's not like the Winnipeg Jets 2.0 are going to sell off in the in the off season and move to Salt Lake. That's not what it's about. It's about maintaining the viability and the competitiveness of this team that we're seeing right now. Well, how'd they get there? How did the Winnipeg Jets get to a point where they're one of the best teams in the league this year? Well, they did it by extending Mark Scheifele and Connor Hellebuck and making the trade with the Los Angeles Kings that they made. If you don't have the financial base to be able to make those real tough money decisions, then guess what happens? At some point, you have to start making business decisions and running based on a budget rather than a salary cap. So if there was a message, I think that's what it was more about. But I also, Bettman will often come out and say, oh, no, this was a pre-planned visit. This, I was just coming to see the Winnipeg Jets, no different than they do the other 31 teams. Okay, I get it. So then you're meeting with a corporate secretary because you don't have anything else to fill out your day, So I get it. He's just trying to calm the waters a little bit, and I know it's appreciated by ownership in Winnipeg, but I do believe that there was a message that has been delivered by Mark Chipman that needed to be conveyed by the commissioner as well.
You mentioned there a meeting with corporate Winnipeg. Is that where they've lost the tickets? Is it is it like coming out of the pandemic, tough to get some of the companies back on board that you need to buy 10, 20, 30 tickets at a time?
Yeah. I don't know if they lost them, Dusty, or if maybe they didn't have that steady.
Back.
All right, well, let's get okay. All right, I think we're good to go. All right, we're good to go. We had a little bit of an internet issue, but let us know. Give us a thumbs up if we are back, and we're going to track down Darren Dreger again. There we go. We do have Dregs back. Hey. You look at YouTube, Trev, behind the scenes, working quickly here. I love watching this guy cook. Drag, sorry, internet hiccup here at the Edmonton Sports Talk offices. I'm assuming it was somebody in Winnipeg didn't want us to talk about this any further.
Yeah, no kidding. No, just to wrap up the thought on the corporate sector that does support the Winnipeg Jets. When the Jets first launched back into the NHL, they had an overwhelming amount of support. You remember the long list of people
it was crazy.
Wanted to be a season ticket holder, so they didn't have to embrace the corporate community at that point. And I think in hindsight, they would look back and go, that was a misstep. We probably should have found a way to give a percentage of the season ticket base to, corporate Winnipeg, corporate Manitoba, corporate Prairies, because we know that there are people travel hours to go and watch Jets games. So it's tough now because they're trying to recoup some of that, but the economy is a stingy one. Not just for the individual who's putting groceries on the table, but for the corporate groups as well who have had to tighten their belt in every turn. So that's, I think, where they'd like to embrace a little bit more and get a stronger read from is corporate Winnipeg.
Darren, you joined your fellow insiders on TSN, of course, Trade Center, a week and change away from Friday's March 8th deadline. I know I'm mentioning a few names, Chychrun, Toffoli, Drysdale, Chris Tanev, and more. Anything you want to touch on there, or more specifically with the Oilers? Any names that we've heard that have kind of cycled back, or perhaps any new ones that have popped up in the over the last week or so?
No, not really. The Edmonton Oilers are fairly transparent as we watch them closely in terms of what they need. And, they're still in the market for a higher end forward, right? Well, who is that? We can conjure up ideas. I look at Tarasenko from the Ottawa Senators. Could he be a fit? Maybe, maybe a bit down the list. What are the New Jersey Devils going to do, guys? I know that they're looking at their West Coast swing here as a real barometer for what Tom Fitzgerald is going to have to do going up to the trade deadline. They're not putting a for sale sign up in New Jersey. That'd be ridiculous. But maybe he's not going to spend as freely as he had hoped. We know they have needs, particularly in goal. Injury has taken its toll, but they also have contracts that they've got to wrestle with. And I look at Tyler Toffoli. Tyler Toffoli wants to stay in New Jersey. The Devils would prefer to keep him, but does it make sense if they're a team that maybe needs more issues addressed than what they were counting on at varying points of this season? So I think that's what Fitzgerald is trying to come to terms with. We talked a little bit on Insider Trading about Toffoli and the fact that his future is uncertain. If he 100% hits the trade block, then you'll have teams like Edmonton who darn right are going to make that call if they haven't already, to say, what's it going to take? So that's kind of where we're at in terms of the wheel of speculation around the league.
It's funny if Toffoli, if it gets known that Toffoli, like they're man, Edmonton. We already saw people texting in when we first started talking with you today. They're like, "What about Toffoli? What about Toffoli?" Like Toffoli would be the perfect fit on the right side in the Oilers' top six. Like, it just couldn't be any better than that, I don't think.
Would you give up your first and Holloway or a prospect?
Oh, it's pricey. That's right. I mean, a first and Holloway. Now, see, this is the problem I've had like for the last 2 weeks, Drakes, is that I sit here in the morning and I go, well, it doesn't matter what the price is. This team has to be all in. And then somebody goes, well, what about a first and Holloway for this? I'm like, well, let's just calm down a second here. Like it's got to be tough to figure out exactly where the cutoff line is for assets, right?
Yeah, and maybe a first is even too much. Especially if you're looking at that player as a rental player. Because last time I checked, when you look at the roster of the Edmonton Oilers, you see some big contracts coming around the corner. Can you really afford to pay another better forward? And Tyler Toffoli is certainly that. The money that he is going to get on the open market to keep him. Well, you're not doing that unless you're butchering your lineup and you're making some really difficult decisions. It's all possible. It's all doable, but it all comes with a price.
Quickly, because we were talking about the Flyers in the last hour. Because they've obviously been mentioned a lot. The Oilers have been linked to the Flyers a couple of times. They hang 6 on Tampa last night. Vasilevsky didn't look great. They're third in the division right now. They're 5 points up on a playoff spot. We were saying, if you're Philadelphia and your team's exceeded expectations this year and they look playoff bound, how difficult is it to actually go into that group and be like, this guy's gone, this guy's gone, this guy's gone? That's got to be a tough line.
It really is. And I've joined them on the fence with this one because I also know how much they value Nick Seeler and Sean Walker. And the perfect scenario, fellas, would be they trade those 2 veteran defensemen and then re-sign them back in the summer. So you get the draft assets, you restock your cupboard a little bit, and then you bring these important pieces back. The problem is your fan base is now believing what they're seeing. And this is a playoff-worthy team. So maybe if your plan is anyway to extend or to re-sign these guys, okay, if you're not getting the first round draft pick that you've been fishing for basically months now, then is a second or a third round pick really worth, kind of taking apart your playoff hopes? And my view on that is no, or at least probably not. I know that Pat Persano represents Nick Seeler, has had, I would say, basic extension conversation with Danny Briere, the Philadelphia Flyers, but there's a team that we got to watch for the obvious reasons, and throw Scott Laughton into that mix as well. A real rock solid glue guy. And those are the guys that we've learned historically you have to be able to lean on in the playoffs. So I think Philadelphia is a team that we pay attention to, maybe more so because maybe they have to rein it in a little bit given their level of success.
TSN hockey insider Darren Dreger with us on the show this morning. The St. Louis Blues roll into town tonight. They got doubled up in Winnipeg last night, 4-2. Final game of a 5-game homestand for the Oilers, looking to get up a second win on this stretch. Buchnevich is a name that's come up quite a bit too. We got a bunch of people text in today. We got Andy Strickland coming on at 7:45, and obviously yourself right now. And everybody's like, can you please ask these guys why the Blues have Buchnevich's name out there, which would also be a great fit because he's under contract for another year too, which would be really ideal. So what's going on there? What's the deal with Buchnevich and the Blues?
Well, I mean, they don't want to trade him, but it reminds me of a few years back when Doug Armstrong traded Paul Stastny to the Winnipeg Jets. Remember that? Right at the deadline. And all of us went, whoa, didn't see that one coming, that he would land in Winnipeg, or that the St. Louis Blues at that time were willing to make a trade of that significance. And this feels like that. Doug Armstrong's one of the best at reading the room. And even though, now we're seeing Braden Shen, the captain, fight almost every single night. I mean, he took on that big beast, Adam Lowry, last night in a big spirited tilt. So the belief is still in that dressing room. And I know that Doug Armstrong and the coaching staff deeply admire that. But if there's opportunity to better the future of the St. Louis Blues, then that's the job that Armstrong has to do. And he's got to also look at the West, look at the East, and go, okay, is a couple of home playoff dates really worth us, not getting the value, the return from some of the pieces that we're willing to move out at this point? And if the answer to that is I'm not sure, then you trade Pavel Buchnevich, because to your point, there are teams like Edmonton, and there are a number of teams that will step up to acquire him. But they're, as of yesterday, in preparing for insider trading, again, a team on the fence, and he might come right down to March 8th.
Dregs, what's up next for the Ray and Dregs podcast?
Working on some stuff. I have Ray Ferraro in charge of booking the guest for episode, I think it's 45, 46 tomorrow. And he was working on Brent Seabrook. Okay. Just in light of what went on in Chicago with the retirement of the Chelios number this past weekend. So I'm loosely promoting Brent Seabrook, but with Ray, it isn't always 100% locked down. So don't at me if Brent Seabrook isn't in the episode tomorrow.
Sounds like you handle most of the guest booking. Is that how it works?
Most of the time.
All right. Excellent, man. We'll have fun with that one, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right. Have a good one. Thanks, guys.
And next week, of course, is trade deadline week. We will have extended coverage on trade deadline day right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Busy week for Dreger. You got the Briar and a trade deadline week going on in the same week. He'll be inundated with action.
So much going on.
Both on the pebble and off the ice.
There's a lot. By the way, today, what's today, Wednesday?
Yes.
Tomorrow on the Lock Shop with Huss, the foremost leader in curling betting in this country. Huss will give you full Briar picks coming up on on Thursday, which could be pretty good. But we are excited for trade deadline here on Edmonton Sports Talk. It should be a lot of fun. Basically, I don't know how long we're going to go into the afternoon, but I'm thinking there's probably at least, Maddie and I will have to lock this in, but probably at least a 2-hour show after the deadline, I would think, to make sure everybody's getting everything that they need. This text in could be A&W text of the day. It's a good one.
Is it another Toffoli trade proposal that we've been having flying in here?
Well, there's been look. First of all, Buchnevich, because he's under contract for another year, would be a good get for the Edmonton Oilers if they Dylan Holloway. As good as Dylan Holloway is, or you expect him to be, I should say.
Well, but expecting.
Dylan Holloway can't be untouchable here prior to the deadline.
You want to win now.
If you can move Dylan Holloway in a deal to get a guy who has another year on his contract and would be a significant upgrade on your roster. I don't want the Oilers to move Dylan Holloway. I'm not saying, trade Dylan Holloway. But I'm also going to sit here and say, if a team comes to you and goes, well, where are you at on Dylan Holloway right now? If we can bring a Buchnevich over to the table, I think you have to have that conversation, I guess. Toffoli would be a nice fit, too. And if you could get Toffoli and also keep him, get him signed, then you'd be willing to part with quite a bit to get Tyler Toffoli. But this is nice right here. This is a good text. No name on this text, which surprises me when you're throwing in good stuff like this. A first and Holloway for Toffoli? Who do they think he is? Marty Erat? If you love Martin Erat jokes, you're going to love that one. That's a really good one.
Martin Erat.
That could be in the text of the day right there. That would be good. Hey, boys, any extra shows coming up at the end of the day during Euro 2024? It'd be great to hear LTE and Matt recap the matches at the end of the day. That's in from Baggio. That's a good one. Sean tuning in all the way from Manila in the Philippines today. That's where the Thriller was.
We have Manila on the map, do we not?
I don't know if I think we have somebody in the Philippines on the map. But Sean, enjoy your. I don't know if you live down there or you're on a trip, but enjoy it. And thanks for checking it out. You can now listen to Edmonton Sports Talk on TuneIn, but also on iHeart now. We've added the iHeart Radio family to our family. They're going to live with us now because I love you. I'm even wearing the Sloth Hearts Chunk shirt today. That worked out very well. Very well. Trev, what do you think? What do you think if they can get a guy at the deadline who has term next year? You have to be willing to move one of the younger pieces, don't you?
Yeah, as far as, all the names being thrown around, that was the first time I really thought of Tyler Toffoli. I don't think I'd do the Holloway in a first for Toffoli. I'd be way more intrigued with Pavel Buchnevich. Like, just looking at his numbers now, like career years, this is his third year being with the Blues. He had a career year his first year with them, 76 points, point per game player, right? 76 points, 73 games played. And even this year, 47 points and 56 games played. Like, those are pretty solid numbers. Shoots left, like that's the player I'd be super intrigued for the Oilers to get, but I mean, it has to be the right price, and I don't know if the Blues would be willing to do it, right? You look for teams, that are kind of on the hunt, and the Blues are kind of on the hunt right now, so it'd be tough, but I mean, that's the one out of all the names that are being tossed around. I think that's the one that has the most like legit case to happening. So time will tell, but I think if the price is right, that's the player I'd be going for.
780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. What would be your one player at the deadline realistically that the Oilers could get their hands on? Who would that one player be? I know some of you might say Tanev. Some of you might say Toffoli. Some of you might say Buchnevich. I know some of you sickos are still going to text in UC Saros text. They probably don't have a lot of time for that one. But what say you? The one guy. Is it Buchnevich? Is it Gensel? Some of you probably still are on the Gensel train here a little bit. Been banged up, but we'll be back. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Guys, Colorado Rusty checking in. Working from Jal, New Mexico this morning. Map it. We haven't put Zach to come on the map in a while here. We got to get him working today. New Mexico. Jal, New Mexico?
Y'all?
I don't know. I don't know if that J is supposed to be said or if it's Y'all. Y'all, New Mexico. Either way, I like it.
He also follows up that text with Tanev or Hannafin. That's it.
One or two. One or the other. That's it. Who would it be? Who's that guy? Penner's Pancake says if Toffoli had 2 years left, you're sending Holloway all day long. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. That's what I'm saying. If you can get a guy with some term left in a true hockey trade, and if Holloway has to be sacrificed, then Holloway has to be sacrificed. I want to see Dylan. I wish Dylan Holloway 2 years from now was here now with this team, right? Like that's what you're kind of hoping.
Anthony Mantha enters the chat. 780-218-9999.
That's a lower end. That's a lower end option for me. Andy Pandy texts in this morning. It says Buchnevich will be our Samsonov. All right, going back to 06. Guys, Nick Dowd and Garnet Hathaway should be acquired for the Oilers' bottom six. Hathaway's a real POS on the ice, and him and Dowd are best friends off the ice. They were literally devastated that Hathaway got traded. Devastated.
Well, you can never have too many POSs, hey?
Mix in the Oilers got some POSs.
They have a few. I don't know if that's
Corey
what you
Perry
need,
would be a
but,
POS on the ice.
For
Evander Kane would be a POS on the ice. Darnell Nurse at times could be a POS on the ice. But you can never have too many. I think every championship caliber team ever has always had 5 POSs on the ice.
I think your POS per roster size would be over 50% in order to have success, both in the old NHL and in the new NHL. It's a POS league.
Guys, multi-time text and kind of easy trivia of the day winner. I live in Lethbridge, but I teach in Tabor. Put them on the map. That's in from Bergie this morning. YouTube Trev's eyes light up there.
I went to school in Tabor.
You think Bergie taught you? That'd be quite the twist this morning. Eh?
I went to school in both Lethbridge and Tabor.
You probably remember. I think Lethbridge is already on the map, but I don't know if Tabor's on the map. It's right next to it, but I'm going to throw that in there. Guys, possibly Marc-Andre Fleury being the guy. All right, so that's another one of the guys that you're looking at in that front. Tommy Gazzola tonight will be at Hudson's on White Ave. That's where he did his first pregame show with Hudson's. Then he's done a couple at the mall, and he's going to be back at Hudson's again tonight for the Oilers and the Blues. And Tommy Gazzola has a stack of GCs like this thick. I'm holding my phone up for those of you listening. Like that's how many
we're talking.
GCs,
Yeah, exactly.
Not the thin wise. I'm talking like that's how big the stack is. He's got the 10s, he's got the 20s, he's got the 50s. The nicer you are to him and the better you look, the more you will get from a gift certificate perspective. And you don't have to come down and you don't have to answer 9 trivia questions to get it. Just go up to Tommy and be like, hey, can I get a gift certificate? And Tommy Gazzola will give you a gift certificate.
Especially when he's on the air doing the show.
He loves
it. Loves it.
Tommy loves
the
when
whole
people come up while
dynamic
he's
of
on
the
the
bar
air.
and being out with the public. It's busy. It's interactive.
It totally doesn't rattle him in any way.
Give him a little tickle.
And you should definitely go and tickle his waist.
50 for me.
Well, he's
Well, he can't use them. He's got to give them away. So he's got to give them away whatever means necessary. So go down there, demand those GCs from him.
he's gonna hate that.
Well,
But pop by tonight, join Tommy pregame and postgame at Hudson's on White. We have a $50 gift certificate to Hudson's right now. So all you have to do to get in on this is text Tickle Tommy. Just text Tickle Tommy right now, 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Text Tickle Tommy to 780-218-9999. You'll go into a draw for a $50 gift card to Hudson's. Lieutenant Eric will find somebody and be in touch after the show. All you have to do right now, if you want to win a $50 GC to Hudson's, is text in Tickle Tommy to 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Let's get into your Cool Bet hotline of the day. Pat Gregoire from Cool Bet will be joining Huss and I on the Lock Shop today, as we'll be giving you our outstanding golf selections. The Cognizant Classic coming up, Rory and a bunch of other guys. So we'll get into that today. Obviously, the Oilers game tonight we will be setting up as well. Might talk a little Toronto Blue Jays today with P. Greggy being a Toronto guy sliding in there. But Cool Bet hotline of the day. We are coming off hitting an EST parlay on Monday for that Oilers game.
and Leicester City with a big 1-0 win over Bournemouth yesterday on the road.
Was that Matty Sprinkle?
FA Cup action. I think he had the Foxes. Yeah, it is.
Well, that was big. Mr. Lean slides in. Wasn't it like plus 415 or something?
Just a win on the road in a cup competition, as you do.
No big deal.
Yeah,
Wow,
just a lean.
That's very exciting.
Yeah.
Connor McDavid to score tonight. It's minus 105. Is tonight the night? As we said in Tales of the North, what happened? Off the schneid, right? May the schneid be warned. May the schneid be prepared. May the schneid be damned. Right? Is that what happens tonight?
If he so chooses.
Connor McDavid, over 1.5 assists, has been hitting like crazy because he's the Apple Master, a passer's passer, the Duke of dishing, the sorcerer of the sauce, the feeder of filthiness, he who ignores the cries of the peasant to shoot and says goals, who needs them?
The Sultan of Secondaries.
The Sultan of Secondaries. Over 1.5 assists for McDavid tonight. It's plus 173. There's a better number. How much is over 1.5 points? It's probably... that's probably where I'd like to go. Minus 143. He scores tonight, right?
Yeah.
Trev, what do you like more? A Connor McDavid goal tonight or Connor McDavid to have 2 more assists tonight?
Well, I know the last time the Oilers played the Blues, they put up a stat, and this is a team he struggled with the most in scoring ever since he entered the league, which was also the first team he ever played in the NHL when he made his debut. Yeah, I don't think he's going to score if he's getting in any points. It's going to be an apple. But
he's even going to score tonight.
No.
What about Hyman? Hyman's been red hot. He scored.
Connor's going to be feeding him, so he's going to score. Of course.
Zach Hyman goal plus 113.
But to score 6 straight for Hyman, I don't like those.
Yeah, that's tough too. The total 6.5. Are we expecting a high scoring game tonight? Bennington's going to be between the... It was high scoring last time these two teams played. Mm-hmm. Was it 6-3? 9
Yeah,
goals
I think
on the
it's
board?
going to be high scoring.
Let's go. Let's take the over. Should we just go on the over tonight?
I like that.
No, but I mean, if we're going to go on the over, McDavid's probably going to have a couple of assists here.
I think he's going to get a few assists, but I don't think he's going to score.
But, let's ride with the Apple machine. Let's ride with the Apple machine here. Connor McDavid, over 1.5 assists, plus 173. Connor McDavid, if you want to go over 2.5 assists, plus 460, which is crazy. But yeah, let's ride this train. Connor McDavid, over 1.5 assists tonight, plus 173. One of our listeners, The Juice, he's going to love that. He's been crushing that bet lately, and it's still at plus 173. So Connor McDavid, over 1.5 assists tonight at plus 173 as the drive to 100 helpers continues for Connor McDavid. That'd be your cool bet hotline of the day. On the way, free advice for Damon Bunting. What do you need help with? This is a safe zone, okay? What do you need help with? We're here for you. It's not going to cost you anything. It's free advice for Damon Bunting. Text us, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Let us know what type of advice you need. We'll give it to you for free after a sports update for Park Mazda with Lieutenant Eric.
Busy night around the NHL. The Vegas Golden Knights getting back in the win column. They defeat the Leafs by a score of 6-2. Jonathan Marchessault with a pair of goals. Flames double up the Kings 4-2. Penguins over the Canucks 4-3 in overtime. Preds have won 6 straight following a 4-1 victory over Ottawa. Avs over the Stars 5-1. Jets doubling up the Blues 4-2. Oilers wrapping up a 5-game homestand tonight against those Blues. Tom Gazzola will be live at Hudson's on White for the Oilers stream pre- and post-game shows. Coverage begins at 5 o'clock right here on EdmontonSportsTalk.com, the TuneIn Radio app, the iHeartRadio app, and on YouTube. OKC Thunder topping the Rockets 112-95. Thunder have won 6 in a row and are tied atop the West with Minnesota. Raps back on the court tonight. They'll host Dallas in one of 6 games. The Edmonton Oil Kings hit the road. They'll visit the Hitmen later this morning. Puck drop 11 o'clock, and the Tigers on Friday night. Calgary over Canmore 6-1 in the AJ last night. Pair of games tonight. Whitecourt host Grand Prairie while Drayton Valley visit Olds. Toronto defeating Minnesota 4-3 in overtime in PWHL action. Just one game tonight. It'll be Ottawa at home to New York. Alec Manoa roughed up. In his first spring training appearance, he hit 3 batters, allowed 4 earned runs, 3 hits, and a walk. And just over an inning's worth of work in a 6-4 loss to the Tigers. Jays' Grapefruit League schedule continues later this morning against the Rays. The club will open the regular season March 28th down in Tampa. Sports update brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda, where a few of their models have cracked the TSN trade bait board. Park Mazda, your dealer for life.
If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you can afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki with like a giant eagle's wings and singing lead vocals for Leonard Skinner with like an angel band. And I'm in the crowd hammered drunk.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
I've got something under my skin, and the itch won't go away. It's my original sin, the poison that I crave. Come along for the ride, I'd make you feel better. Cut the rope that I tied, but then I broke my skin again. You got me fiending for that first high, but the feeling's not the same. You got me stealing, killing, I die just to feel you in my veins.
Whale and the Wolf, EST House Band, bringing you the goods. Check them out on Spotify. We got Andy Strickland coming at you from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen Studios today. You can text us anytime. Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999. Go see our friends at PJ's. Visit their website, parisjewelers.com. You could win text of the day for A&W. Nice little list coming together for A&W text of the day, which is real good. Andy Strickland will be by. He's on radio. He's on TV. He's got the podcast, Cam and Strick podcast. He's a busy boy. Scheduled to join us here around 7:45 to talk a little bit more about the St. Louis Blues and this Buchnevich character. We'll get into that a little bit. Right now, though, let's get into free advice for Damon Bunting. What do you need help with? 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Damon Bunting, he's our guy. What's that chant go? He's your guy.
Everybody clap your hands.
That's not the one. That's not the one I was looking for. Damon Bunting, he's our guy. He's our man. If you need to sell your house, you know he can.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Damon Bunting. Visit him. Check it out. www.damonbunting.com or the IG handle, Damon Bunting Real Estate. He's just a good dude who does great work, and you'll feel very comfortable with him helping you buy or sell your home. www.damonbunting.com. What's that chant, though? I don't think I did it right. If he can't do it, no one can.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, what is it, though? How's it go like?
It's,
I can't remember how that's, like the rhythm of it.
Damon Bunting, he's a man. If he can't do it, no one can.
Yeah, well, that was easy. Yeah, I think that's it. Damon Bunting, he's our guy. He's our man.
He's
our
guy.
If he can't sell your house, no one can.
He's our boy.
And clap your hands. There you go. All right, what do you need? Free advice, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Fantasy sports advice, life advice, whatever you got. What do you need? We got the answers for you. Here's this one. Boys, it's been 2 days now since the big storm. My neighbor's driveway and walk still have not been shoveled. It's driving me insane. Should I just go do it?
Call 311.
You're going to report them?
I don't know.
Oh, that is not the twist.
Okay, read that again. They've been
Boys, it's been 2 days now since the big
days.
storm. My neighbor's driveway and walk still haven't been shoveled. It's driving me insane. Should I just go do it?
Maybe they're not home. Is this like a repeat? Is this a serial offense that they commit every time there's a big dump of snow?
We do kind of need more info on this one, I think.
Because if they usually keep their walk and driveway pristine, I mean, they could be out of town. They could be not feeling well. There's a variety of. If this is a serial not shoveling person, then yeah, maybe I would. I'd just like somebody else to call the 311.
Like, are you really close with this neighbor, or do you not know this neighbor much? I mean, maybe something happened. Maybe that's why it's not done. Maybe you should just go over and knock on the door and just say, "I'm just checking in on
a wellness check."
Yeah. It'd be really awkward. That's like one of those Curb Your Enthusiasm things. I'm only freshly into Curb, but going up and knocking on the door, I'm like, oh, I was just seeing if you're okay. Yeah, I'm okay. Why? Why are you checking? And then you kind of like slow look towards the, no reason.
No reason. This and that. Yeah.
That's kind of what that is like.
You're just getting into Curb, hey?
Yeah, well, I'm like 5 episodes in. Tam and I have been dabbling in it a little bit.
I love it.
It is hilarious.
I'm loving it.
We just watched Porno Gil.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the earlier seasons are the best, like with anything. But you wait till old Marty Funkhauser joins the show.
My
Super
God.
Dave Osborne, Bob Stein. He is that takes it to a whole.
I just love the callbacks, like at the end when I'm just like, oh my God, and nobody else has their shoes on, and he broke the thing. And
it's like Seinfeld.
Yeah,
the whole
very
episode
much.
sets up. But wait till the cast comes back. Oh, you are in for a treat.
I'm starting to dabble in it a little bit. It's a lot of fun. Hey guys, huge fan of the show since I was a kid. I'm graduating high school this year. I'm looking for any advice on getting into sports broadcasting.
Advice?
I mean, I guess still go to school.
Run as fast as you can. No, I'm joking.
First of all, hopefully you've been doing like a podcast or a show or something in high school. Get you some reps. That'll help. You could still go to a broadcasting program for sure. You can go to Nate.
Yeah.
Go to Lethbridge College. I just hope the programs at Nate and like Lethbridge College and anywhere else you go to radio, broadcast, communication school or whatever, I hope they're focusing much more online now than being like, hey, when you get out of this business, you can go work at an AM station in Hyde Prairie. Right?
I can confirm hard that Nate is always looking around the corner in that regard. They've the whole campus there, which I went on a tour, it's totally different than when I went. They
completely different.
Everything is new, and not just new present day. They are still looking to where it's going to go. So
I'll say go to Nate.
Yeah.
Then contact us when you're ready for practicum.
Be an ook.
I do like the ook logo.
It's great.
I was a Kodiak.
It's great
at Lethbridge College, which was good. But the ook is just got a nice.
I think they've got a new mask. Have you seen all the mascot uniforms throughout the years? Like the earliest ook mascot, terrifying.
Guys, I know it's off season, but I was just offered St. Brown and a second rounder for Justin Jefferson. I have to take this, right? I need to know how many keepers there are in this league. Are you talking second rounder like from a rookie draft? Are you talking second rounder in like a league where you keep 5 guys? It's tough to answer this not knowing the true value of the second rounder. I'm also a huge homer when it comes to St. Brown, so
Yeah.
At this point, I can't give you a legitimate answer. I just have to say I need more info. If you have more info, 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Paul in Calgary texts in and says, hey, boys, has hell frozen over? I found myself cheering for both Calgary versus LA and the Leafs versus Vegas last night. That might be a first for this lifelong Oilers fan. Am I bad for this? You're not bad for it. You're cheering for things that would help your team.
Yes, like we're going to be cheering for the Devils to continue losing to right? The
To get
Toffoli-esque.
Toffoli, yeah.
Yeah.
I think you would be a traitor if you weren't cheering for the Flames and the Leafs last night.
It's situational, and that's okay.
It's dirty and gross.
It's situational, though.
But
that's what you have to do.
But still, yeah, that's not great. Guys, my buddy from work has tickets to the game tonight, and he invited me. I found out last night that he also invited one of the new guys at work that I can't stand. Should I suck it up and still go? So you get to go to the game. Just have the other guy sit on the other side of your buddy.
Yeah, or just ignore him. I mean,
that's probably what I would do.
There's no law that you have to talk to.
Definitely have a few beers before you go.
Oh, good idea.
So you're not completely annoyed.
Loosen up a bit. And then have the guy with the ticket sit in the middle. And then you should be good.
Does it make it any easier this time that it is on the other side? I mean,
I don't know.
Like
getting a gym membership for Valentine's Day from your fiance. Now, being a fiance, I would assume, well, that means a wedding is coming.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe it's like, I love you, but let's tighten things up because there's going to be wedding pictures that are going to be on the wall.
Get into that
for
suit.
like the rest of our lives. Yeah, you got to fit into the.
Keep the chin strap, but shave off a few lbs, hey, or something.
I guess you could. By default, you kind of have to start going to the gym because if not, you're not using the present. You never use what I got you. You got me a gym membership. How am I supposed to use that? That's a tough one. That is a tough
If you're
one.
entering into a lifetime contract, you would want the other partner to be as healthy and functioning and performing on I think that's a real good.
Oh man,
make use of that gift.
Don't know. I don't know. That's I don't know about that one. That's
But now you can.
Are you a mess? I gotta know. Are you just carrying a few extra pounds, or are you like a big boy? Or
but now you get her one too. Now you can work out as a couple. Well, then return fire. Hit that ball right back over the net.
Now we can go to the gym together.
Isn't that great? Hey?
Well, maybe she already
What a
has
thought.
maybe she already has one, and she's like, I want you to come with me. Maybe that's her plan. I want us to work out together.
As always, a few details being left out here that would go a long way.
Look at this text, guys. Is Charch still on the menu? I almost forgot about that. How do you almost forget about Charch? Chin Strap Awareness Month. End the stigma, man.
We've been talking about it for the last 2 weeks. Mid-February here.
I played the song today before we even started the show.
You sure did.
It's available in the Nasty Club. I can play that song right now. We don't have time because Andy Strickland's going to be joining us here right away.
Blasphemer.
But yes, Charch is still a thing. Chin Strap Awareness Month coming up. Starts in 2 days. Guys, first day with the iHeartRadio app. I am loving it. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about the iHeart app.
Yep, some good buzz, good vibe.
People are absolutely loving it. So it's just another nice, convenient way. There's nothing I love more. Somebody texted in earlier today, screen capped our iHeart page with us and then the Bear and a bunch of other radio stations in town.
It's a nice look.
Smack dab in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So I like that. So if you've not yet checked out the iHeartRadio app, download it for free. Just search iHeartRadio app. Charge starts Friday. It does start Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Looking forward to that. Did we get Andy? Did we have voicemails by Andy?
That was. Yeah.
All right. Fire him a text. And see what's up. Well, I want to talk to him about Wyshysnki. It's interesting. About his availability. And if he is available prior to the deadline. Somebody texted, who was the guy? Somebody texted and said, Dusty, can you please ask Andy Strickland why the St. Louis Blues would trade Wyshysnki? And how he thinks he's going to fit in Vegas. Right? Is that
Nate in Vegas texting in again?
It wasn't Nate in Vegas.
Okay.
But I saw it and I kind of laughed. And it's one of those laughs where you're like, oh, wait a second. It's the Chris Farley gif.
That's not happening, right?
He's
Or the Padme and Anakin one.
Yeah, that one too. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly.
But you could see that happening, correct? I mean, it's all lockstep again for the Golden Knights. Eichel's back, Stone on LTIR, activated for Game 1, and flying a Buchnevich, and away you go.
Probably not a bad idea. That's probably not a bad
gotta
idea.
Be plan A right there.
St. Louis Blues are still fighting, though. Legitimately last night, Shen and Lowry. So St. Louis is not... they're not mailing it in by any stretch of the imagination.
Speaking of fighting as well, Rangers and Columbus tonight. You think old Rempe gets involved in another tilt here? Round 2 against the Blue Jackets here, eh? That type of thing?
Another scrap.
Another tilt? Why not? McDavid continues not to score. Rempe continues to fight.
Kid will not be denied.
Not denied.
780-218-9999. Paris Jewelers inbox. Third hour of the show just around the corner. We'll have kind of easy trivia. We'll have 3 questions too many. Greg Wyshynski from ESPN is going to pop by in hour number 3 to also help us set up the Oilers and Blues. Take a look around the National Hockey League. We'll have the weekly rankings of power. Orange and Blue breakfast. A little bit of a deeper dive into the game coming up here in hour number 3 as well. If you missed Darren Dreger, we had him at the beginning of the hour to talk a little bit about the Oilers and Blues. We're going to dive into the St. Louis Blues a little bit more right now with Andy Strickland, Cam and Strick podcast. It's on TVs, on radio. He does the pod. I'm not sure how this guy finds a lot of time, especially to join us, but let's bring him in this morning. Andy, good morning. How you doing, man?
What's up, fellas? All is well, man. How are you guys?
You're a busy guy, aren't you?
I like it that way. You know, I don't mind being busy. You know, you got to have something to do. You know, what else would I be doing? You know, it's watching hockey, talking about hockey, you know, having fun, man, enjoying life. That's what it's all about. So, could be much, much worse.
That's exactly how I operate from a business perspective. I'm always like, if I have nothing to do, I'm like, man, I should be doing something.
Yeah.
I got to have something that I can.
That's why we call you a glass half full guy around
That's
here.
Right. Thank you, Eric.
Yeah,
Thank you very much. Yes,
the nickname to live up to.
The Edmonton Oilers, they're trying to finish up this homestand. They've got 3 of a possible 8 points so far. It's a big one tonight for them. Obviously, a big one for the St. Louis Blues after dropping one last night in Winnipeg. Andy, tell us about that game. What ended up happening against the Jets yesterday?
Well, they got behind early, then they just couldn't catch up. I mean, the Blues have allowed, 7 goals in the first period in the last 2 games. And it's difficult on the road, as you guys know, you know, to chase games, to come from behind. When they were able to make a game out of it, I mean, Brandon Saad scored in the second period. It was a 3-2 game going into the third. And, you know, Edmonton was able to get to the next goal. You know, you just kind of figured in a 3-2 game, the next goal obviously is so important, it's so crucial. And Edmonton was able to get it. So, you know, the Blues power play was terrible early in the year. It got way, way better when Drew Bannister took over. I mean, you look at the stretch since the middle of January or middle of December, I should say. I mean, they're among the best in the league from a power play perspective, but now it's gone a little bit dry as of late. I don't know, man. It's interesting times right now for St. Louis. You know, you look at where they're at in the standings. You know, you were kind of hoping coming into the season they'd be able to hang around, which they've been able to do, but you know, you want to see them playing meaningful games at least into April, and this is going to be a challenge, man. They're in the middle of a real on the beginning of a difficult stretch right now. I think they had a stretch of 8 of 9 on the road, so they played 2 of those. So you know, 6 of the next 7 on the road here for St. Louis, and listen, this can make or break their season. Cairo and Thomas got benched, by the way, in Detroit. They only played 1 shift in the third period. They were much better last night, but you know, still obviously not good enough.
When you talked about the power play and how when Bannister took over, it got better, was it a systems change that he made? Was it a personnel change? Why did it have such an impressive jump?
You know, I think that's a good question. Listen, I think it was a personnel change. I mean, Braden Shen was on the number 1 unit. He left the number 1 unit. You put Jake Neighbors on that top unit and put him in front of the net, and you know, all of a sudden he took off. You know, he's among the league leader, or the team leaders in power play goals, and you know, he's a kind of a throwback net front guy, and he scored a lot of goals in front of the net. You know, but you know, he's got a variety in his toolbox. Actually, when you look at the number of goals that you know Jake Neighbors has scored and the variety of goals that we've seen him score, you know, he's scored in a number of different ways. But I think that was the biggest change. You know, Scotty Perunovich, who is a former Hobie Baker winner, you know, he was on that number 1 unit when the power play really started to take off. Then he got hurt. He missed 7 games. Would have missed more if they didn't have the All-Star break and the bye week included in that. So he benefited from the break. But, you know, then Torrey Krug kind of reassumed the number 1 the power, the quarterback role in the number one unit, and they continue to do well. And Krug right now is operating with the top unit, and Perunovic is back now healthy. But I think those are the two biggest changes. I mean, Oscar Sundquist was put on the second unit. He's got 3 or 4 power play goals, something like that, on the season. He's also a net front guy. So I think they simplified their approach. Obviously getting more pucks directed to the front of the net and trying to get some ugly goals. And even a guy like Kyrou scored a couple of power play goals closer to the net and not just living and dying on the perimeter. So, listen, it's not, brain surgery here. It's not rocket science. Sometimes, the things that worked, 20, 30, 40 years ago still work in today's game. You got to play close to the net. If you want to score goals, you got to get around that blue paint. And that was a big reason for it. But winning, scoring timely power play goals and getting really strong goaltending from Jordan Binnington. But their 5-on-5 play needs to be better if they want to make the postseason.
I'm glad you brought up Jake Neighbors because he spent parts of 5 years here in Edmonton with the Oil Kings. He already has 19 goals in 58 games this year. Is it just more opportunity that he's taking advantage of, or have you noticed a significant jump in his game?
I think it's both. I mean, listen, when you improve your game and you play better, you're going to get greater opportunities. And listen, this guy was a first-round pick for a reason. I think he's got the natural offensive ability. I think his game translates really well to how you have to play in the National Hockey League, because he is fearless. He is willing to not only get to the blue paint, but also stay there. He'll take some punishment, the modern day punishment. We don't see a ton of it in today's game, but listen, he's a guy who will give it back as well. But like I said, a few minutes ago, he's scored goals in a variety of different ways. We've seen him score goals, one-timers, 2-on-1s, breakaways, deflections in front, rebounds in front, fast break goals where he just snaps it, over the goaltender. And he's scored some big goals for this team, but he's also willing to stick up for his teammates. It's interesting because he plays a hard game. He does not shy away from contact. He plays through contact. He's always in the mix. He's involved after the whistle. And I don't think he had his first minor penalty until 40-some-odd games into the season. It was crazy. He just had his first fighting major of the year. So it's not like he's been fighting a lot. But listen, guys, I think know that he's willing to go. But you talk to him, man. He's got future captain material written all over him. Robert Thomas is here. He may very well be the next captain when that time comes. Obviously, Braden Shen in the first years of the captaincy here with the St. Louis Blues. But, Jake Neighbors, I think he's been better than advertised, to be honest with you, from an offensive standpoint. And I'll be interested to see how his career progresses. Is this a career season for him, or can you truly bank on this guy, putting up 25 to 30 goals a season? And I'll be interested to see if the Blues extend him this summer too, which they have the option to do.
Andy, we can't let you go here without talking about Pavel Buchnevich, obviously a name that's popped up a lot in the trade rumor mill. He's having a really nice season once again. He's under contract for next season at a rather reasonable number. We were talking about it with Darren Dreger about 40 minutes ago on the show. Do you expect him to be moved? What's the driving force behind it? And does it basically just come right down to deadline day as the Blues want to see where they can be at 10 days from now?
Listen, there's so many factors that come into play here with Pavel Buchnevich. I mean, one of them, obviously, you want to see what the team is at, but you also want to see if another team presents a package that Doug Armstrong is willing to accept now, versus waiting into the summer. I mean, the reality is this guy's been pretty much a point-per-game player. He scored his 23rd goal last night, a point-per-game player since he arrived at St. Louis. And, you look at the money that Robert Thomas and Kyrou are making. He's outperformed Kyrou from a production standpoint. He's a better all-around player than Kyrou. And he's not going to, settle and accept less than what Kyrou is making, which is north of $8 million. He's got an identical contract as Robert Thomas. So it's a matter of time before they do move him, only because it's unlikely that they're going to be able to re-sign him. And these guys, 28, 29 years of age, where they're in a situation where they can, get that 7 or 8 year deal. I think Doug Armstrong wants to shy away from doing that, paying these guys deep into their 30s. I mean, I hate to look at it this way, but the Blues have gotten probably more than they even expected, but they've gotten exactly what they needed out of Pavel Buchnevich when they brought him over here from New York. You know, he's a really, really talented player, but the asking price is high. And I would never say never. I would think the summer would be more realistic in terms of his being moved. I mean, if the Blues are able to keep their head above water and still, you know, to have the team feeling like they can make the playoffs between now and the trade deadline, you know, he's a player that you want on your team if you make the playoffs. But again, I'm not so sure a team's going to be able to, you know, present something to Pavel Buchnevich, who has a limited no trade clause, who's done something to the Blues where they're comfortable moving with him between now and the trade deadline. Things can change. I would expect a team to illegally reach out to his camp, find out what it's going to take to sign him based on what the asking price is. I think they're going to want to know if they're going to be able to do that and how much money it's going to take. He's a really, really good player. I think he will get moved at some point in time. Do I think it's going to happen before the deadline? As of yesterday and the day before, I said no. Today I'll still say no. But obviously things can change.
As always, man, we really appreciate it. Thanks a lot for taking the time today. Keep up the great work and enjoy the game tonight.
All right, fellas. Appreciate it, man.
There you
Thanks
go.
as always.
That's Andy Strickland. He's a must follow on Twitter. If you are not already following, has some great content that he's churning out over there as well. Interesting stuff. And he's just at Andy Strickland, in case you were wondering. No underscores, no nothing. Just Andy Strickland on Twitter. Has the Cam-a-Stick podcast as well. Interesting on Buchnevich. What was the quote? The asking price will be high. We kind of expected that. I'll never say never, but I think the summer is more realistic for him. So if you're going to want to get Buchnevich from the St. Louis Blues, it's going to cost you a pretty penny.
Pay up. The neighbors talk got a few people riled up in the nasty chat as well. Imagine the Oilers drafting an Oil King in the first round. Hey.
Look, you can't have it both ways, right? You can't. I know. I saw it right away. I saw text messages being like into the old PJ's inbox there. Saw text messages coming in being like, it was taking 10 picks after Dylan Holloway. Yeah, but I mean, for years here, it's like, don't draft Oil Kings. Don't draft Oil Kings. You're only drafting Oil Kings because you're lazy and they're in your own barn. And then you miss out on the good ones and you go, why aren't you drafting Oil Kings? This guy was right under your nose.
Yeah.
So it's...
There's no hindsight.
The Oilers can't win with the Oil Kings discussion.
Draft hindsight is the best, especially in this market.
They just can't. What they can win with is Oil Kings attendance. Oil Kings attendance has been absolutely terrific.
Very good for a team near the root of the league,
which is nice to see. 780-218-9999. Let's get to this quick text before we wrap up the second hour of the show. Jam-packed third hour coming up as well. Guys, I'm taking my 8-year-old birthday boy to his first NHL game tonight. Loves hockey in McDavid.
Happy birthday.
And yes, happy birthday. It's your birthday today. You're going to go and watch McDavid play. It's going to be a lot of fun. Enjoy that tonight. Enjoy. You only get to take your kids to their first game one time. So make it special.
Another kid after that. Like you just keep.
Well, yeah. Imagine if you only have one kid.
Damn, that was a loss. Got to have another kid. And you just keep having kids, and every game's a loss.
That was an amazing experience, though. I'm going to have another one.
We're going to get a winner.
And in 4 or 5 years, you take that kid to their game. That's pretty good. I like that. 780-218-9999 is where you can text us. Paris Jewelers inbox could win text of the day for A and W. If you like to play kind of easy trivia right now, and who doesn't, let's go. Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual. $25 gift card to Mr. Mike's is up for grabs right now. All you need to do is get 3 of 5 very easy, kind of easy questions correct. Text Trev right now, 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Text Trev. Let him know that you would like to play kind of easy trivia today. You can play here on a game day and get yourself hooked up with a gift certificate to Mr. Mike's, where they do have the 6 o'clocker lager on tap. 3 questions too many. Lieutenant Eric's weekly rankings of power. That's a good. That's on the way. Greg Wyshynski and the Orange and Blue Breakfast all on the way in hour number 3. Let's get to a sports update for Claiborne Services. If you're looking for work, they are looking for you right now. ClaiborneServices.com. Rick's got more after the update.
Game day as the Oilers wrap up a 5-game homestand against the St. Louis Blues. You can join Tom Gazzola. He'll be at Hudson's on White with your Oil Stream pre- and post-game shows. Coverage beginning at 5 o'clock. You can hear it live on EdmontonSportsTalk.com, the TuneIn Radio app, the iHeartRadio app, and on YouTube. Blues falling last night out in Winnipeg 4-2 to the Jets, as the Jets have won 4 straight, reclaiming a share of top spot in the Central. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with 31 as the Thunder top the Rockets 112-95. OKC have won 6 in a row and are now tied atop the West with Minnesota. Raptors back on the court tonight. They'll host Dallas in one of 6 games. Elsewhere, the Clippers and the Lakers renew their rivalry down in LA. Oil Kings in action later this morning. They're in Calgary to battle the Hitmen. Puck drop 11 o'clock. Then it's off to visit the Medicine Hat Tigers for a Friday night affair. Calgary over Canmore 6-1 in the AJ last night. A pair of games tonight. Drayton Valley visit Olds, while Whitecourt hosts Grand Prairie. Toronto beating Minnesota 4-3 in overtime. PWHL action. Just one game tonight. We'll see Ottawa at home to New York. And Alec Manoa roughed up in his first spring training appearance yesterday. He'd hit 3 batters in just over an inning's worth of work, also allowing 4 earned runs and 3 hits and a walk in a 6-4 loss to the Tigers. Sports update for Claiborne Services. Take your career to the next level with Claiborne Services. They are hiring all positions, including journeyman bricklayers and apprentices of all levels. Take advantage of their outstanding mentorship program and work with peace of mind knowing that they are an industry leader in safety. You can visit www.claiborneservices.com or make it easy, give Jeff a call, 780-910-6728.
Yo, YEG. Let's kick it. Ice District. Ice District. Alright, stop, collaborate and listen. Ice District open, here's what you're missing. Rogers Place, shining so brightly. Get your tickets, watch Mick David nightly. Can he be stopped? Yo, I don't know. Give him the puck and he'll go to the extreme. Nothing but a sick handle around the D, man, make him look like Yandel. Damn, game over, the night looms. No more 1/18th and poisonous mushroom. Surprise, it's a new winter garden. I mean Ford Hall, I beg your pardon. Love it or hate it, you better get going. Ice District's the bomb and it's just exploding. If there was a problem, yo, he solved it. You're on the hook while Kate's just profits. Ice District. Ice District. Ice District.
Game day in the district. Right here with the AM Nasty. Thank you very much for being here for the ride. Our goal songs brought to you by Sportball. Any of our songs brought to you by Sportball, www.sportball.ca. They've got their summer programs now available. Start planning for your kids this summer. Those will probably fill up quick. www.sportball.ca. If you've gone through a summer, you haven't put your kids in Sportball before, you're missing out. You're missing out.
Any song, hey? That would include the Charge Anthem, then I do believe. Sportball will be all over that, eh?
Yes, the Charge Anthem. In fact, I heard that all Sportball coaches are going to have a chin strap in the month of March just to support Edmonton Sports Talk.
A tear trickles down my face.
Which should be really good.
And then gets caught by the chin strap.
Can you wait? Like Friday morning, we start the show. Charge Anthem.
You got a great little beard coming in here actually right now.
Do I?
Shall you say? I didn't notice until now. But
do you have a beard right now?
Very interesting. Huh. It's got something going on there.
I remember last year during Charge. At the end of the month, my wife was like, I've missed you with the chin strap. I was like, you're nuts.
Well, you're the one.
You're a psycho.
Look, you've spearheaded this program, and I've seen the wedding photos. Great.
I'll post more wedding photos
everything, but
during the month of
you
Charge.
have that thing hot. I mean, it's when I took part in Charge and let my face grow until the last day of March and then shaved the Colby Rasmus.
It was great.
Looking. I mean, look, that wasn't good. But what you pulled off for your wedding day. 5 stars.
It was tight.
It
was tight.
It was tight. There's no giggling here.
End the stigma around chin straps with Chin Strap Awareness Month, a.k.a. Charge, which begins on Friday. See, Gager just sent out a DM reminding everybody to get our F1 Fantasy.
Yeah, and I got a
in.
text, too.
Yeah. Oh, did you get the text?
I'm in the group now.
Oh, yeah, he did send out a text. No. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, there it is. 20 hours, 54 minutes, 19 seconds left until Grand Prix weekend begins in Bahrain.
I just love Yuki Tsunoda gifts. That's all I'm operating on this season. Straight Yuki gifts.
I put a reminder in my phone to do it while I'm watching power skating this afternoon.
Yeah, 20 hours, 27 minutes, 41 seconds, and a little less.
Who's playing Kind of Easy Trivia today? Trevor, who do we got, buddy?
Today we have Northside Neil.
Northside Neil is going to play today, looking to get his hands on a gift certificate to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual, the casualest place ever. 6 o'clock lager on tap. The delicious sirloin bites. They are to die for. in the Hampton Inn, the corner of 137th Ave and Mark Messier Trail. Go check out our great partners at Mr. Mike's. They're AM Nasties, just like you. You go in, you ask for Mike there. I'm not kidding. That's the name. And you can make some funny, hilarious EST jokes.
Just walk in there and shout AM Nasty. They'll
get this man a 6 o'clock or lager on tap.
The whole place
right
just
now.
changes. The curtains, the streamers, and everything. Yeah.
All right, let's go to Northside Neil. Needs to get 3 of the 5 questions correct today. If he does, he is winning the gift certificates. Neil, ready to play?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I will start the ticker after read the first question. Good luck, man. Here we go. Who do the Edmonton Oilers play tonight?
St. Louis Blues.
Which Hall of Fame defenseman did the Oilers get from the Blues in 06?
Pronger.
Name one player on the Blues right now.
Buchnevich.
What position does Alec Manoa play?
Ooh, no idea.
What country is Shea Gilgeous-Alexander from?
Mexico.
You got it. You got 3. You got 3.
Are you kidding me? That's right. Who do you think you are? I am. Get it right. You can't have a newcomer come in and steal a show.
That's a peddling.
Oh, we've been strong. We're just playing by the rules.
Ooh, you better believe that's a peddling.
And I was in Miami with my new beach house. Well, it was a couple minutes from the beach.
That's a peddling.
The first year we took it to the limit.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
Clubbeat Loop provided by Northside Neil. Missed on the Canadian. Who's in the running for NBA MVP this year.
Really 2 Canadian questions in form of Canada's only baseball team, only true blue baseball team, in the Toronto Blue Jays. And Alec Manoa doing what he didn't do yesterday. And then, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, only the best.
I try to give you the benefit of the doubt with 3 hockey questions. Like,
Sure,
if you have a hockey question,
you he's a hockey fan, not a sports guy.
Yeah. But yeah.
I told you we should have called this
Canadian,
EHT, not EST.
Edmonton
what are we
hockey
doing with these
talk.
hats?
Yeah, that's a good point. What are we going to do with all this stuff that you can get at the Hive? Hive product marketing right there. Products that bring the what, Eric? Bzz, the buzz. Yep. Exactly. Bzz, bzz. See, this is where we need to get to. Big Maple. Big Maple in the Nasty Chat says, I saw a picture of myself from 2008 with the worst looking chin strap I've ever seen. See, that's what we need to talk about. We need to talk about ending this stigma around thinking that was a bad picture and realize it was likely a great time in your life.
So what you're saying is even my Colby Rasmus impersonation was not as funny as some people would lead me to believe? I should take pride in this? Is that
you should definitely take pride in it.
Huh.
Did you see, was it Yuki or Kikuchi? You say Kikuchi's got an epic chin strap right now.
Shades of Rasmus.
He's a game changer right there. I
very much appreciate to mind. I'm just thinking of the bracket we did way back when.
Yeah, it wasn't a big bracket, but it was a good bracket.
It was quality, not quantity.
It was a good bracket. Yeah. Chin strap. And now, the corporation here, Edmonton Sports Talk, can really get behind it. Can fully get behind it.
We've shed all that corporate mumbo
jumbo. We were always
jumbo,
kind of a lone wolf on 1260 with Chin Strap Awareness Month. Really wasn't much of the old corporate push, but now there will be.
Yes, 25 cents of each text will go to.
Well, let's not get carried away. We got a bunch of text messages.
HR Daddy's pulling his hair.
Yeah, he'd be losing his mind. Actually, I wonder if HR Daddy will grow a chin strap this
that'd be great.
I've never seen HR Daddy with a chin strap.
Yeah,
that'd be. Is he committed to Edmonton Sports Talk or not?
Well, if not now, when? It's the first annual charge for Edmonton Sports Talk. We might as well go to the.
Yeah, that'd be something. All right, we got 3 questions too many coming up. We got that's good for Italian Center Shop. Greg Wyshynski is going to be by for Metal Supermarkets. Weekly rankings of power coming up. Orange and Blue breakfast. This is a jam. But what do you do? I guess you can't tell me yet. Weekly rankings. I'm always intrigued by them. What's he got going on over here today? That sounds good. It sounds real good. Let's get into 3 questions too many for the great staff at Park Mazda. Lieutenant Eric, do you have a liner for the segment today?
3 questions too many brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda and Mitch Lewicki, where Mitch has actually been sent out to Winnipeg to grab Gary Bettman and take him out of the city due to the fact that they don't have an airport. Park Mazda, you deal for life.
Oh, because the airport thing still.
Yeah.
And those jokes are hilarious.
I know.
They are. And the craziest part about the lame joke is that the Winnipeg airport's actually really nice.
Well, it's
a really nice airport. It's not like a huge airport, but it's a really nice airport. There's like 12 gates. It's great.
I've always said prairie people making fun of other prairie people is a joke that will.
That is the all-time twist,
on.
right?
Like, it's such a small place, that Winnipeg, so insignificant compared to here.
Do you have a Twitter account?
At Lieutenant_Eric on Twitter. And you can also follow Edmonton Sports Talk at YEG Sports Talk. And you'll want to follow that account because Tommy's on the move. He's on the go. He's a man around town. Hudson's on White Ave tonight. What do you think, Tommy? He's a White Ave guy, though, hey? Like,
Tommy's a downtown boy.
Kelly's all that.
He's a downtown boy.
When we're looking at Hudson's on White, Hudson's on Bourbon Street. Hudson's is great, but you add White Avenue or Bourbon Street. Two great places to party.
Which Hudson's are you more of? And I'm more West Edmonton Mall.
And
Hudson's.
I'm a bourbon boy myself.
I love West Edmonton Mall, so I love the Hudson's at West Edmonton Mall.
However, though, if I was closer in proximity to White, that's what my answer is hinging on, is proximity, really.
My wife and I are having a little night next Saturday.
Your
mother-in-law's going to come over and look after the kids. We'll be 9 days into charge. I'll be looking super tight. And we're thinking of Hudson's. I said, let's go to Hudson's, man. Let's go hit up Hudson's on Bourbon Street. Real wild and crazy time. You know?
Yada, yada, yada. A new Nielson will be bouncing around at about 9.
No. Oh, man. That's not going to happen. All right. Let's get into it. Question number 1. Guys, who or what would be off limits in a trade for Wyshynski right now for the Oilers? Who, like is Broberg off limits?
Connor McDavid.
Is Holloway off limits?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I see. For Wyshynski?
He's under contract again next year, 5.8.
Yeah,
There's got to be some retention. Like, there's got to be some things that happen here to make it work.
Given the fact there's still some term there, I wouldn't say anything's kind of off the board. It depends kind of how far you want to. Strickland mentioned that they're going to be asking, maybe if he said it's maybe more of a summer,
very high price,
so it might take a little bit to pry him out of there right now. So I understand, but how far do you want to go? Like, I don't think you mentioned Holloway. I don't think that would be. Again, you're getting a guy with term. You got to pay the price. Like, how far do you take this?
Okay, let me just throw this out there for you.
What's the cut line?
And this is not me suggesting it, so don't tweet out that idiot at Edmonton Sports Talk says he would do this. Mm-hmm. This is me just throwing something out there. We're throwing it on the wall.
We're just talking.
I don't want to throw it on these walls because they look so good. Because of William Huff. This place looks great. But if the price for Wyshynski, in order to also have them retain, and you'd have to move some salary back the other way as well, I think. But what if it was remember earlier today somebody was just like a first and Holloway for Toffoli, and you're like, love Tyler Toffoli. I don't know if a first and Holloway would do that. But what about a first and Holloway for Wyshynski, knowing that he's a significant upgrade on Holloway right now? You slide somebody else down into whoever's been moonlighting in the top 6 is now in the bottom 6. I personally still feel a little bit pricey. Like I said, major hypocrite, because I think you should be able to move whatever in a window like this. But that's a pretty good get for 2 playoff runs.
Red says Holloway a first and a third for Booch, 50% retained.
I mean, if 50% is retained for the next year, and then do you want to have a better chance of winning the Stanley Cup? This would give you a better chance of winning the Stanley Cup. So, I mean, where do you come out of this?
That's the question.
Where do you come out of
gives
this?
you a best chance of winning
780-218-9999. If that's the price tag on Wyshynski, he said it's going to be really pricey, and you get him for this year and next, and you get a good chunk of that retained, what are you willing to give up to get him? 780-218-9999. Question number 2. Boys, the new video intros are sweet. What's the next video element you want to mix into some of the shows?
Trev?
Next video element. I don't know, Trev. I mean, we got the intros. What else would we throw in here? I don't think.
Yeah, I've got some ideas, but that's, I don't know, behind the scenes stuff.
Oh,
so yeah.
Like
so
for in show?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, it would be cool to maybe, if we call to a segment, to bring in, okay, like 3 questions too many, and like I bring up, like, you know, like a quick little something. Stuff like that.
Oh, so like little sort of graphic intros.
Yeah, like a
That's
kind of
point.
like a slideshow transition, essentially. Exactly. So do something like that. That would be really cool. I still have to finish the pre and post. I'm working on that one right now, but I wanted to get these ones done first. And
you know what I'd like to do one day if we can make this work, Trev? Well, I know we could, but it would be. But you know how and we could take phones, we could do phoners. But I do like the idea of actually having listeners and viewers on the show. Let's go to the phones. They text in and say they want to get in. You send them the link to click and join, and then we set them up.
Full
and we
video.
Bring them in. Full video.
Oh.
Full video. That's a game changer.
I like that.
Oh. That's a game changer.
That'd be cool.
I think it'd be kind of neat. We could
Only during the 6 o'clock hour.
Technically, we could 100% do it. It's easy. We just have to send you the link to your phone. You click on it and you hop on. But I think we'd have to take it for some trial runs.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of see how it is. But can you imagine
vetting process
in the playoffs, Tommy's post-game show, and you're actually cutting to videos of listeners live on their phones being like, can you believe this happened? Oh, Tommy be mad. He'd be mad. It'd be madness.
Pat in the county says, God, no.
That would be something, though. There'd be a few people who'd want to take advantage of that.
I was just thinking of the morning show, but yeah, you go around the clock. I mean, you go to a post game that's ending around midnight or something off a wild Saturday night.
Phones are upside down and stuff.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Gord is in and says, what about amateur hour to fill in some time in the afternoons? Yeah, we'll leave that with us. Leave that with us for now. When you start something, one of the things that you don't want to get too carried away with is growing too fast.
Biting off a little more than you can chew.
Yeah, exactly. Growth has to head in the right direction at the right pace. And right now we're pacing well. But we'll see.
Oil City Dynasty says, one of my favorite parts of the show is the lack of listener calls. Please, we don't need this, especially from RCN.
I technically don't. I technically don't miss it. But I will say, callers did provide us sometimes with some ridiculous moments.
There was always a
that
flower.
We'll always remember.
A flower in a bed of weeds, but
I test Jack.
But you always started. I remember you'd start a phone and all right, let's go to the phones. This is great. And then once the segment came to an end, you're like, well, we're never doing this again. Every single time.
I like the idea of somebody on the postgame show after a playoff loss is on video chatting with Tommy, and they're giving Tommy the double bird. That would be nuts. It's something different. It's something different for sure. I've got another one here that I wouldn't mind. What about a twice weekly video call like we do with our other guests with friend of Edmonton Sports Talk, Bob Stauffer?
Well, that'd be.
Hey, how would that hit?
Save him from having to come in here physically. You can do from the comfort of wherever you want, Bob.
Wherever he is.
You call the shots, and we'll
just connects on his phone
hook you
and
up. Yeah,
twice a week. And who says no to that? Who says no to that? All right, I think that's a pretty good idea. We could plug Oilers Now, right? It'd work out really well.
Plug whatever you want.
Plug whatever you want.
Yeah.
Whatever you want. Anyway, it's out there. It's out there. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. This one we're not going to spend a lot of time on, but it did come into the inbox a little bit earlier. Guys, who scores first? Connor McDavid or Connor Brown? I mean, at this point, they're both kind of due. I am more surprised that McDavid hasn't scored in 10 than Connor Brown hasn't scored as an Edmonton Oiler.
Connor McDavid will feed Connor Brown for his first goal. The assist total goes up for McDavid, and Brown gets his first goal. People yelling, shoot, and he'll pass it over to Connor Brown. Some sort of weird situation where they're out there. And
that'll be the classic McDavid to Brown where it's like, shoot, and then they see him pass, and then they go, no! And then Connor Brown still buries it. I'm going to have to say McDavid. I got to go with McDavid.
Has to be McDavid. They're both on a 2-0. Hey, could you imagine that? You take it. You take it. Yeah,
McDavid would pass it to Brown in that situation.
Yeah. It is interesting, though. I know McDavid will never say that he looks at the stats, and especially this year. He's like, I don't really care about any of that. Yeah. But you have to think, he's so pass-first mentality. The other game, he was right in the slot, and there was twice. The one, it kind of got intercepted, but then the one, obviously, he gave it to Hyman, and Hyman scored. But do you think that he's not going to reach, Matthews with the goals, but do you think he's like, no, I'm he was joking around what he said the other day, but I honestly think he's like, no, I am pass first mindset right now.
It's funny because last season it was like, oh, he's going to score goals this year. And then he went and scored over 60 goals last year. Now this year is his mindset just I want to get 100 assists. So go get 100 assists.
I think he's like, yeah, I'm not going to get but if I can lead the league in assists, I'm going to do that. So I think that's kind of where his head's at right now.
He's definitely pacing to do that. Tommy Gazzola slides in the nasty channel. Tommy and that wrench.
Hey, Tom.
Robert, that's Bob. He calls him Robert, I guess. I'm surprised he didn't say Robert Bartholomew Stauffer. Robert would like that. He would just want to get his honey buns for the hits. We might not be able to provide Stauf with honey buns, but where does he come out on cinnamon buns? Oh. We could probably get some cinnamon buns.
A couple $50 GCs from Hudson's might do the trick. Hey, from Tommy. Straight from Tommy. Straight from his hand.
Straight from
right?
Tommy Gazzola. Yeah. That's a good. You know what? I would love to see that at the game in the press box. Tom Gazzola goes up to Stauf, opens up his suit pocket, takes out like 350s from Hudson's, tucks it in, and puts it back up and pats it. And pats it and goes, there you go, Stauf. You're paid. That'd be amazing. Look, quickly on the cinnamon bun thing. I don't have cinnamon buns as often as I should. Like, I love cinnamon buns. We have them like twice a year. It's like somebody's selling them for charity, so you get one. Or maybe you're at the mall and you go to the cinnamon bun place and you get a little treat. But how often do you have cinnamon buns?
Not often. Maybe like...
They're good, though, right? Like, do you love cinnamon buns or you cinnamon
Probably
buns?
around like a 3.5 per year.
Okay. A
little over, a little
on
under.
A scale out of 1 to 10.
Do I love my love for them? Oh, they're delicious. No raisins. You're putting raisins in these things, it's going straight down to a negative number. But
whoever put raisins in cinnamon buns for the first time should probably go straight to you know where.
It can happen, right? And I don't want to. But no, a good cinnamon bun with some good frosting. Zap it for about 8 to 15 seconds. You don't want it melting. You just want it a little soft, so it's not so hard
I
on
want
the edge.
melting just a little bit.
But
I do want to take a little
just
melting.
get a little hard and crusty sometimes. You get that down a bit. Then you're laughing, and I don't know. I mean, you used to. I remember I used to live next to a Cobb's bakery, and they had the option of getting the big cinnamon bun, right? Or you could get the small little ones, a pack of 6, and then just kind of eat them throughout the day, which was a nice treat as well.
2 bites.
I love them, but I just don't really get it.
But that's the thing. Everybody loves them, but you just don't get them very often.
The sweets,
Trev, do you also love cinnamon buns?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I love them. Way too much. Like, oh, man. I can't even put into words. Well... it's been like 2 months since I had them. But yeah, it's a weird thing. Everyone seems to they're like the top of everybody's list. Like, I don't know anyone that hates a cinnamon bun.
I think you have to look at it as like cinnamon bun we view as like a treat to have it. Like you're going to treat yourself.
Yes.
When really it should just become more common. I think
it should be like an ice cream.
But people have ice cream all the time. Why can't you have a cinnamon bun? Like you go somewhere and order ice cream for dessert. Why can't you order a cinnamon bun for dessert?
You want a cinnamon bun cart.
I want that big cinnamon bun money to start pushing it harder.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Oh, get
Is that too much to ask?
Get a Pillsbury tube today and just have at it at home with yourself.
That'd be real nice.
It's not the big one, but it's kind of like, it'll get you there.
All right. Job. Hit us up, 780-218-9999. Sorry we got a little sidetracked there on the cinnamon bun thing, but let's be honest.
Oh, I'm not sorry.
It's absolutely delicious. It's terrific.
It's a great treat.
It is terrific. All right, let's get into everything's good at this next place. Hey, it's time. It's time once again. And we do have, I wonder.
Well, look, this segment, we had the paninos, we're talking about the pizzas, and on the topic of baked goods, the Italian Center, we're sleeping on the bakery there.
Oh, my God.
The cannolis, the cream-filled everything.
You can't sleep on the bakery there. It's
no,
the best.
They got people working there around the clock. It's a busy little hub. You take a number. Yes, the sandwiches are good. The pizza's great. Everything else is awesome. But the bakery at the Italian Center shop, that's a good.
That's good. Brought to you by the Italian Center shop. And last week we had them in studio. Next week we're gonna be diving into their pizzas, so we're gonna get some of their pizzas in studio. I've never had the pizza. You guys say the pizza is absolutely unreal. So I'm excited. I'm excited to get my hands on the pizza.
And you can dine in. You can order a pie there, have a little glass of house red, and
right in the cafe.
It's like
there.
you're in Italy. It's awesome.
The panino, it's like the gateway drug to the Italian Center shop, right? That's kind of how you first get.
Your first.
That's exactly what happened with Trev.
It's right at the front of the
door.
door.
Trev, you had a panino, and all of a sudden you're in there all the time.
Yeah, I'm kind of a regular there.
You're making your own pizzas.
I'm kind of a regular there now.
I frequent there often. I do. I can't get enough of that.
If you've not had the panino, it's the house-made baguette, topped with olive oil, oregano, roasted red pepper spread, then loaded with the meats and the cheeses. It's absolutely delicious, and they're huge. They're like this. You could feed literally for lunch. I could probably feed my family with one panino.
Oh, you could stretch it to supper time if you really want.
Well, I mean, we are a hungry family, but still. So anyway, I'm going to get to the President's Trophy race in a second, but we did have Rick Pinter. I have not yet got this into the computer, but we've got Rick Pinter saying, that's good.
In a variety of ways, actually, as Rick does.
Yeah, let's see here.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
Oh, that's a good Daddy one. Legs.
That's good.
That's fun.
That's good.
Oh, my God. Pinter, are you kidding me? This guy's a beauty. So he records this for us while he's on vacation. He's standing there like he's getting ready for a grade 3 photo. Like his hands are folded in front of him. He's like, that's good. So
wearing his Oakland Athletics spring training.
Wearing a bright yellow Oakland Athletics spring
Cactus
training
League, baby.
So anyway, we've got those mixed in now. We'll have those moving forward. On Friday, we'll have it in the system. You'll probably be able to hear it a little bit better. But my goodness, that's going to be so good. But you know what's good right now in the National Hockey League? Go take a look at the race for the President's Trophy. For top spot in the National Hockey League right now. That's good. Vancouver Canucks, 83 points. Florida Panthers, 82 points. Boston Bruins, 82 points. New York Rangers, 81 points. Winnipeg Jets, 71 points. Dallas Stars, 79 points. There are 6 teams within 4 points of leading the league in points this season. Colorado's at 77. Carolina's at 76. Then you get down to the Maple Leafs, the former defending Stanley Cup champions, the Detroit Red Wings, and then the Edmonton Oilers, who are 12th right now in the overall league standings. But the race for top spot in the National Hockey League this season, that's good. Who's your money on? Who's your money on right now? 780-218-9999 or hit us up in the nasty chat. Now, it doesn't matter because whoever wins the President's Trophy usually get a choke.
Well, you get a banner,
anyway.
don't you?
But
isn't there something to be?
Vancouver, Florida, Boston, Rangers, Jets, Stars, Colorado, Carolina. Those would be the 8 that I think could possibly end up with it. Sorry, Oilers fans. You're 13 points back of the Canucks right now. I know there's games in hands. I get all that. I don't think the Oilers are going to finish first in the overall NHL standings. But where would the smart money be? Who do you like? I'm going to say Florida.
Not the Jets, not the Avs, not the Stars, not the Oilers, not the Golden Knights, not the Canucks. I'll say Boston.
You say Boston. Boston
Just to
Bruins.
counter what you're doing here.
Boston Bruins lost 3 in a row.
But you're right. Do you even want that? it should be trying to avoid it as best as you can just to come up short.
I think it might be different for Florida. Just because they were kind of the upstart last year who went on the run.
Shouldn't have done anything squeezed in.
So they've kind of gone about it a different way.
Yeah, that'd be something.
It wasn't just team that came out of nowhere, finished first, and then kind of disappointed. Florida was down here last year, went on a hell of a run, and now they just look to be a really, 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 really good team. So I don't know if Florida would be cursed if they finished at the top of the NHL standings. Jimmy Onisha is in and says, the Bruins as President Trophy champ with 30 overtime losses. They've gone to overtime in a bunch of games. 6 games in a row they've gone to overtime.
It really would be nice as well to see the Jets kind of capture that spot somehow, some way, given all the heat and the talk and Gary Bettman visiting the market, right? New York Rangers, the Liquid Beaver says, 780-218-9999.
Guys, we don't want the President's Trophy. Here's some trivia for you. How many teams that have won it have also won the cup? It's a good point. I'm not 100% sure what that number
you
would be.
don't get a banner for it, correct? They're playing for the cup.
I think technically some teams have hung a banner for winning the President's Trophy.
Okay, but you win the President's Trophy, you get to raise the trophy, or you don't touch the trophy, then what? Like, there's nothing that you don't get a...
There's nothing there.
You get any sort of,
Trainer Mark is in. We're going to get to Greg Wyshynski coming up here right away. That's good for the Italian Center Shop. YouTube Trev lives there now. It's just that simple. He is there absolutely all the time. We are highly suggesting the way into the Italian Center Shop is with the panino. We got the pizza coming up here over the next couple of weeks as well. We're going to have to dive into some bakery treats too here.
They're the best. It's all good. It's all great. Been going there for years. It's the best place to be. And again, you can get it to go. You can dine in. You can get little nice crackers with lots of different types of cheese and even the sandwich and deli meats. You don't have to go to the deli counter. You can buy them in the deli, the kind of the rack there. Meats, cheese, crackers, breads. They even have a produce section. Fresh produce.
I want to dress up like I'm in Italy and then go in there.
Have a little espresso.
Right? That'd be pretty cool.
Nice hat.
That's good. Brought to you by Italian Center Shop. We will not lead you down the wrong path. Most of you already know about the Italian Center Shop, but if you don't, go in and get a panino for lunch today, and then you can thank us later. That's what some people would say there. We got the weekly rankings of power still to come. We got an orange and blue breakfast still to come as well. But we've got Greg Wyshynski right now for Metal Supermarkets. You can find Greg Wyshynski's work over on ESPN, obviously, and you can find any metal you need at the convenience store for Metal Supermarkets. Any metal, cut to size, ready fast. 2 locations, one on the west end, one on the south side, or, of course, their online location at www.metalsupermarkets.com. You can hop on there, check out all the sizes of metals and all the types of metals that you can get at Metal Supermarkets. Greg Wyshynski pops by for a visit here on a game day, Oilers and Blues tonight. Wyshynski, how are you doing this morning?
I'm good. I haven't checked the NHL bylaws, but is there a way the Devils can always play the Sharks? Like every night, is that possible?
I think everybody it would make
my life
right?
and the life of my it would make my life and the life of my extended family a lot easier if they could just like beat the Sharks 7-2 every night. It'd be pretty great.
You think the Devils got a push in them?
They haven't put together 2 good weeks of hockey yet this season, and I'm not going to be fooled by listen. I've watched a bit of the Devils since the All-Star break just to see if they were going to get going. What they faced last night must have felt like putting the game on easy mode. Like they're completing passes on a power play without the penalty kill, pressuring points. Like they're shooting the puck and it's going through the goalie. Like they're playing a team that I'm not going to be fooled to believing.
Lost him. That doesn't happen very often, actually.
What a mic drop, eh?
We'll get Wyshynski back. We want to get his thoughts on the New Jersey Devils briefly. Then we want to get into the St. Louis Blues, the Edmonton Oilers trade deadline as well. I do want his thoughts on who he thinks ends up winning the top spot in the National Hockey League standings.
Someone from the East.
Think someone from the East?
Just a guess.
Trader Mark texts in at 780-218-9999. Hey, guys, now that you're on iHeart, I can tell Google to play you guys for the first time since the old place. Do you know how many times this week I've said, hey, Google, play TSN 1260 with clients laughing at me? What an idiot. Oh, Trader Mark, you are a stupid person. But yeah, I guess you can. Hey, Google, play Edmonton Sports Talk. You can get him again, Trev? He's good? Okay. Yeah, get him again. Yeah. We just started with him, so let's get him back. That's nice, though. Very convenient. People really want convenience, right? That's what you're looking for in a situation like this. And if you can just throw that in like that, hey, Google, play Edmonton Sports Talk, boom, done. Love it. All right, let's bring Wyshynski back. We lost him right as he was saying how the Devils are going to go on a run and win the Stanley Cup, I think. Greg, sorry, we lost you.
No, I was saying that they're a weird team in the sense that they've not put together 2 good weeks of hockey yet. And they're still a team that's, besieged by injuries, whether it's Dougie Hamilton being out of the lineup for like the most of the season or, they've admitted that Jack Hughes is less than 100%. So listen, I think that they've got the potential to do it. I just don't know if they can do it. And I don't know if it's got the runway to do it. Again, the thing that you got to remember is that their path to the wild card means they've got to overcome either Tampa or Detroit. Detroit's not going anywhere. Tampa, I'm still not 100% sold they're going to make it, but right now the percentages are in their favor. Or they've got to hop over the Flyers, who, again, every time you want to say, they're like the Jason Voorhees of teams this year. Like every time you think that they're dead, they rise up and win like 4 games in a row, and that's just how that's been with the Flyers, even through all of their injuries and other adversity this year.
So, Greg, just going off of that, what would it take for the Oilers to pry Toffoli out of New Jersey?
Oh, baby.
I mean, it would take them being, if the rest of this road trip went horribly wrong, I think they've got maybe like 4 more games before the deadline. I don't know if they'll be far enough out where they're going to turn into sellers, to be honest with you, but that's what it would take. I mean, it would take them cratering before the deadline.
Devils.
But I mean, you're not the first person to bring up the idea of the Devils all of a sudden turning into sellers and finding someone to take Toffoli, at the deadline. I mean, obviously, like the Oilers, the Hurricanes, all these teams that are looking for a little bit more help on the wing would obviously want to be in the Tyler Toffoli business, being the player that he is and having the playoff experience that he has.
Yeah, Devils 2 more on the road beginning Friday against the Ducks. Then they visit LA. Then home to the Panthers and the Blues to kind of get you up to that March 8th deadline there, Greg.
Yeah, and there's some winnable games there and some tougher games there. Again, if the problem with them is the same problem that we have with a number of teams right now around the deadline, which is that they're probably not going to be far enough out where they can make the declaration we're a seller, we're a buyer. I mean, I have my top 50 players big board up on ESPN.com today of the top 50 players that could move at the deadline, and a lot of them are guys in the Penguins, a couple of people on the Wild, and these are teams that just seem to be hovering around just close enough as the deadline approaches where they might not necessarily become sellers. I mean, in the case of the Wild, I mean, half the league would love to add Marc-Andre Fleury to their goalie battery, but the problem is that he has said, and the team has said, that unless the Wild are completely out of the picture, that he's not looking to move, and I don't think they're going to be completely out of the picture by the time the deadline gets here.
We were just looking at the race for the President's Trophy here this year, and there's about 7 or 8 teams that are right within 4 points. Not that it necessarily matters, but which team of the elites do you think finishes the strongest down the stretch this season?
I'd say Florida. I mean, Florida's kind of been a constant this year as far as, playing through some real injury adversity, playing through a stretch where Matt Tkachuk inexplicably wasn't putting the puck in the net. They're just a really impressive team. I'm kind of interested to see what they get scrounge up at the deadline to add to that group, because I'm sure it's going to be probably something on the back end. It's just a matter of what price point they could meet, just considering how much that they've traded in the last couple of years to make these runs that they've made. But the Panthers are just a really impressive group. They've got good goaltending. They knew who they are. It seems like the playoff run last year really kind of solidified things for them and gave them a good amount of proof of concept. So I would say the Panthers are the ones that I think will come roaring. Do Panthers roar? I think they do. Roaring into the playoffs.
They do something. Yeah. There's some sort of roar there. Is that called a roar, or for big cats? Yeah, something else like lions roar. Lions roar, right? So I would assume Panthers.
They don't purr. They don't purr. Yeah, I mean, they might. I mean, I don't think I've ever gotten close enough to a panther to tickle its chin.
It probably purrs a little bit. I think it probably purrs
a deeper tone.
Yeah,
of purr.
Yeah, a purr that
Well, I mean, I'm sure it has a satisfactory purr after it eats your arm. I think probably is the thing.
That's exactly what it is. The St. Louis Blues are here tonight. They were in Winnipeg last night, where the commissioner also was. Any takeaways from Gary Bettman's stop in Winnipeg to say, "I'm here, everything's okay, but I'm here"?
So, he said something that was very interesting last night. I tweeted about it last night after he said it on TSN, but he said that when they complete this hotel, which apparently has been years in the completion in Winnipeg. I had some people in Winnipeg reach out and say this thing, they stopped working on it 2 years ago. They haven't picked up the work yet. But when this hotel gets done, he said that in the near term, they would look to bring the NHL draft to Winnipeg. I got a text immediately from a player agent after I tweeted that to say, wait, didn't we just say that we're not doing the draft anymore? It's all going to be decentralized and everybody's going to be in their own city. And did Gary just promise to bring a thing that doesn't exist anymore to Winnipeg? But I think what the NHL is going to do with the draft is have an event where the top prospects will be there and there'll be something in a city every year. But then all the teams won't be at their tables; they'll be back in their cities. So that was pretty funny. Look, I find it to be. I don't want to be critical of the Athletic for the article they put out. It's a great get, and it's created a lot of stir, and we should all be very happy about that in hockey journalism. That being said, I did not like the platform that was given to Chipman to just kind of say whatever the hell he wanted to say without any scrutiny. There are obviously reasons for why the Jets do not have the season ticket base that they had a few years ago, and there are obviously mistakes that were made by ownership over the last decade insofar as inroads to the corporate community to make sure that the corporate community continued to support the team through season ticket sales. That hasn't happened. And I feel like it was a very much owner crying poverty, putting a lot of blame on the fans, which isn't fair. And it didn't sit well with me. And Gary Bettman goes to Winnipeg last night and he's doing the whole thing of it's not about them relocating. Don't be worried about that. In fact, you can buy tickets with the comfort of knowing they'll still be there, but you need to buy more tickets if you want them to be competitive. I'm just like, that's kind of unfair. Like, there are other ways for teams to make money, to bring in revenue, to rely on support from the community beyond a fan having to pay, these kinds of ticket prices with the threat of like, we can't make a trade unless you buy a ticket. Like, it's insane.
Greg Wyshynski with us from ESPN, where you have posted your top 50 players available, possibly available, could be available, maybe available prior to the deadline. Yeah. And number 4 on that list is rolling into town tonight with the St. Louis Blues. It's Pavel Buchnevich. We had Andy Strickland on the show about half an hour ago, and he says if you want him, it's going to be insanely high price. He's not sure it happens at the deadline. Seems like more of a summer thing. But Oilers fans are drooling over the prospect of maybe having the Blues retain a bit on this guy, bringing him in, having him here next year as well. Not surprised to see him so high on your list. He'd be a great get for anybody, right?
He would be, and I mean, Andy would know better than I because he's embedded with that franchise a bit more than I am. But like, I just think that's a guy you get for your cup run. Like, yeah. I don't think he's a summer move if you're a team. I mean, you think of a team like Vegas, if they could make the numbers work, to bring him in on the wing on that team would be devastating for the rest of the Western Conference. I mean, like, I think the world of this guy. I mean, he's a play driver. He's a point per game player. He's a tenacious guy. He works on almost any line you put him on. He can drive a line himself. There's a reason he's number 4 on this list ahead of some really, really talented players. That I think that the difference makers that could be available at the deadline are few and far between, and I think he is without question one of them. And the price on these players is always astronomically high. The price on Gensel's high. The price on him, that Buchnevich is high. How will a goalie move if not if you don't pay a certain amount of freight on Markstrom or Saros? I mean, the prices are always high. When it comes down to it, it comes down to, are you going to maximize the opportunity to bring back a return on a player who probably will not be here within 2 years in St. Louis, or you don't? And if you're Doug Armstrong, like, it's foolish to wait to the summer. You maximize the value for Pavel Buchnevich right now because the team can get the rest of this season and next season for him. That is the height of his value.
Greg, what do you got coming down the pipe next over at ESPN?
Well, Jesus, Dustin, I just wrote a 50-player list for you guys.
I'm glad you brought that up because as I was going through this, I was also going to ask you, how long does it take you to put together 2 paragraphs on every single player on this 50-player list?
It takes a while, no doubt. But one of my few gifts in the world is I'm a pretty quick writer, as people who read Puck Daddy probably remember. And then 2 is just like, once you've written about these guys a few times in the lead up to the trade deadline, you kind of got to wrap on them. You kind of know what to write about them. So to answer your question, though, I've got a feature on the sensational Matt Rempe coming out either Thursday or Friday on ESPN. It's a really good piece. I talked to him, talked to his junior coach, talked to some others, not only about the incredible sensation that this kid has been in his first week in the NHL, but also obviously like the way that he's entered the NHL with his fists and what that all means for him, for the Rangers, and maybe for the NHL at large. Because we've really not seen this in a long time. Somebody coming up and throwing hands and knocking people out with checks and stuff. So he's an interesting guy because he's complete opposite of what he is on the ice. But what he is on the ice has been certainly something that has captured the imagination of hockey fans in the New York area.
Greg, I just wanted to say as well, very refreshing to hear your take. I know you posted the tweet just yesterday about LTIR and air quotes faking injuries. I thought it was just a good take and one that needs to be kind of amplified and brought forth into the hockey world as well as we move forward towards the playoffs.
Well, yeah, and briefly, like I talked about it on the Drop with Arda this week, our podcast. If you want to check it out, but like, it's the laziest defense from teams that are accused of cap circumvention. Like, Vegas fans are always so quick to say, well, what do you think they did? Fake a lacerated spleen? We're like, no one thinks that you guys are faking injuries. No one thinks that you guys are inventing surgeries. Everyone thinks that Mark Stone will probably be healthy for game 82, but won't play until game 1 of the playoffs. And that's circumvention. Like, that's the issue. And the Golden Knights aren't the only ones to do it. The Blackhawks did it with Patrick Kane. The Lightning famously did it with Nikita Kucherov. I applaud it because I'm not a salary cap guy, and I think you should find ways around the cap any way possible.
Yeah.
But let's not fool ourselves on what these accusations are. And if you're saying, well, you're just accusing us of faking injuries, then you are being a lazy intellectual and ignoring the bigger picture here, which is that, congratulations, your team found a way to cheat.
Well, and if that's the system, then cheat away too, right? Like you can't get mad at other teams finding loopholes and then your team not taking advantage of said loophole.
You know, I used to agree with that until the Devils were penalized for the Ilya Kovalchuk contract. It's fine, it's cool, it's a loophole until it's not.
Yeah.
And then maybe the NHL will retroactively punish you for it. But no, I agree. I mean, like, this is going back 20 years now. But I'm a luxury tax guy. I think the cap. We could talk about this for hours, but I think the cap penalizes teams that build well. And I understand why it exists. It's to help some of the franchises that struggle financially. But at the end of the day, we have a salary cap, and we still have a team saying our fans need to buy tickets or else we can't make a trade.
Greg, I'm going to be done reading this 50 players by this afternoon, all right? So post something fresh tonight or tomorrow morning. We'll talk to you next week.
I'll do what I can.
All right.
I'll do what I can. Thanks.
There you go. It's Greg Wyshynski, brought to you by Metal Supermarkets, your convenience stores for... Yes, Metal Supermarkets, West End, South Side. Convenience store for Metal.
What a lick.
It is. It's
a hell of a lick.
I
don't know who they got to do that
goat
one,
of commercial sounders. Simple as that. It just works. It just works. Check them out, metalsupermarkets.com, and browse the various metals that they do have for you. You can hit us up in the nasty chat. Hey, hammer that thumbs up if you just popped in here in hour number 3. Hammer the thumbs up for us today, and give us a sub if you've not yet subbed to the channel. Just over 7,000, working our way up towards 7,100. A busy day here on Edmonton Sports Talk. We got the hangout coming up with Matty Owanek. We'll have the lock shop with myself, Huss, and P. Greggy from CoolBet, and then Tommy and I on the oil stream today at noon. Tom Gazzola tonight for the pregame show and the postgame show at Hudson's on White. We gave away a gift certificate a little bit earlier on in the show today. And, of course, Tommy's got a fat stack of GCs for you tonight if you swing by Hudson's on White as well. All right, weekly rankings of power.
Power.
We've been working on this bad boy. We got the orange and blue breakfast still to come. And then on the hangout today, Tommy obviously will be down at the rink getting ready for the game, but we're going to have Scott Edwards, head coach of the Pandas, and Doug McLean, local basketball play-by-play man. Doug McLean will be in with Matty today. Should be
/ expert.
Well, Fraze is the local expert.
Okay. Yeah. Of everything.
Yeah, that's right. All right. What are you ranking this week, buddy?
Well, if everything is fine with the Jets, then the real reasons that Gary Bettman was in Winnipeg yesterday.
Oh, I hope there's a couple of Bombers references.
Well,
that gets
on
excited.
This show? Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Let's do it. Number 10.
Purchasing a season ticket.
Himself.
Leading by
put
example.
your money where your mouth
Leading
is.
by example. They'd have this big thing where he walks up to the window, 1 please, and he slams down a $10 bill, and they say, Gary, no, this hockey's changed.
They've got Global and City TV and CTV News there. And
we'll need a little bit more money than that. And he says, what? And so, yeah.
One season ticket,
One, please, and through the window.
Number 9.
A chance to speak with Sarah Orlesky.
Oh, of course.
Why isn't that not top of the list? I don't know, but
Canada's sweetheart.
It's you've had more than enough chances to speak with her at various events. And
Orlesky is the best. One of my favorite people.
Anytime.
Number 8.
He's getting set for a polar bear excursion up in Churchill.
Makes sense.
You go Winnipeg. They outfit you with the big coat.
Yeah.
Then they get in one of those big 4x4s and they drive up there.
Huss comes on. The Huss voices it over. So as you're like going up, it's like, you're here to see a polar bear.
You could include Huss in any of these, really.
Yeah,
in some way, shape, or form, yeah.
All right, number 7.
After professing Winnipeg as a, quote, strong market, the NHL will kick off its world's strongest hockey player competition. Beginning this summer in Winnipeg, kind of like a Metrics World's Strongest Man, right? They got the big Atlas balls, the Kyber toss, all that stuff, but just strong hockey men.
Number 6,
Gary Bettman will be opening a Winnipeg-based corporation called Winnipeg Ticket Buyer.
Number 5,
hoping to attend a Winnipeg Sports Talk trivia night at Little Brown Jug.
Hey? WST, Little Brown Jug.
Bettman wanders in, eh? Just
that would be great.
By himself, takes a seat near the back.
I love that
one. As you do.
Number 4.
Meeting up with Blue Bombers President CEO Wade Miller to understand better on how to run a successful business.
I mean, if you're going to do it in Winnipeg, that's the place. Number 3.
Announcing Winnipeg as the next home of the NHL draft, and that's kind of going off Wyshynski's words there, which was kind of funny. Yes.
All right, number 2.
He's in town for the big Moose, Texas tilt over the weekend. AHL action there.
Well, I mean, if you're the commissioner of the National Hockey League, how are you not going to most AHL games?
Double. They got double. two in a row. Why not?
It's ridiculous. And number 1.
The number 1 reason that if everything is fine with the Jets, the real reason that Gary Bettman was in Winnipeg yesterday, just loves a good Salisbury House nip.
Salisbury House.
The nip.
I've went to Sal's once.
Did you get the nip?
No, we went for breakfast.
Breakfast is what they pride themselves on.
They love Huss at Sal's.
But they love the nip, whatever. I still don't know what the nip is. It's a burger or something, a breakfast burger?
My buddy Eddie the Gambler texts in. Must be listening, or this is just the most random coincidence text of all time. Bettman was there to taste the chicken tendies. That's what I'm talking about. That's the reason that I call Bombers games.
I've never been on one of these road trips with your CFL crew, but if you guys are doing this weekly rankings, that would be number 1, correct? Like that'd be
dude. My favorite thing.
All about the tendies.
I love being at IG Field. I love the people I work with, but I would legitimately fly from here to Winnipeg just to go to the Elephant and Castle and have the chicken tendies with the honey dill sauce.
Tendies at ENC or the Salisbury House breakfast? Anything? What do you be doing?
Dude, you can say anything. And my answer is the tendies.
Wow. Even over Salisbury House, a Winnipeg institution.
Yes.
The nip.
Well, and as Huss said yesterday in the lock shop, because Huss went out and got some chicken tendies from a place called Mitzi's in Winnipeg.
Okay.
Yesterday in the lock shop, he's talking about it. He said that they have the best chicken tendies.
Oh.
And I says, I beg to differ, my friend. I was at Elephant Castle no more than 2 months ago. And they had, I'm telling you, they're the best. They're the best.
I miss Elephant and Castle. Just say that. Every good city, if you are a city, should have a bar called Elephant and Castle. Just saying.
Save the takes.
Well, hey.
Save the takes. All right, let's get into the Orange and Blue Breakfast. Oilers and St. Louis Blues tonight. The Blues, of course, playing last night and losing last night because how could you roll in on Gary Bettman Day in Winnipeg and beat the Jets? You basically had to
that one. Yeah.
Had to give them that one last night. As for what did you hear Andy Strickland earlier today? You heard what he said? Said they benched their 2 best players in the third period against Detroit because they weren't playing well. Benching your top 2 players, even though they're elites compared to everybody else on the team? Holding them accountable? Never. Don't see that happening very often, I guess. Anyway, Robert Thomas, Kyrou, and Buchnevich. Why stop with Buchnevich? Acquire the entire line. The whole line.
Well, they owned the Oilers last time. They play. Well, hey, that's how you take care of your issues.
Here's the best part. Somebody's going to text him right now, and Dustin go, if they could take Nurse and Jack Campbell, you might be able to afford that. People, I love you. Thomas with Kyrou and Buchnevich, future Edmonton Oiler. Braden Shen with Zach Bolduc and Jake Neighbors, who should have been an Edmonton Oiler. Kevin Hayes between Kasperi Kapanen. That's where he's hiding. Kasperi Kapanen always just goes around to different teams, makes a little impact, then finds another job somewhere.
Oh, he's hiding, baby.
Yeah, with Hayes and Saad.
2 assists in his last 10 games.
He's cruising along. Oscar Sundquist with Torpchenko and Nathan Walker, who hilariously, despite being a little man, did body check Ryan Reeves really hard about a week ago. Nick Leddy, future Edmonton Oilers, Colton Parayko, Justin Falcon, Torrey Krug, Scott Perunovich, and Marco Scandella. And we're expecting Binnington for Bannister tonight. Is that
Binnington for House of Bannister as Joel Hoffer got the call last night in the loss.
If the Blues were to beat the Oilers tonight and we're all betting on the Oilers, you could say a Bannister always helps you lose your bets. That works, right?
We're going to get there. Right, we're going to get there eventually.
For the Edmonton Oilers, yesterday, Derek Ryan did not practice. Sam Gagner slid in there between Brown and Holloway. Ryan McLeod with Corey Perry and Warren Fogle. The Nuge with Matthias Janmark and Evander Kane. 97, 29, and 18 at the top of that list for the Oil. Blue line remains healthy and remains intact. Ekholm with Bouchard, Nurse Cece, Kulak, and Vincent Desharnais.
Well, and we should just forego the guys who aren't tough enough to play tonight because, as you mentioned, for the Oilers, aside from Brady Stonehouse still on the IR, for the St. Louis Blues, one individual as well, Josh Jacobs on the IR. So relatively clean bill of health on both sides.
Two healthy clubs.
As we say, maybe a bit of a bug going around the Oilers dressing room at this stage of the year. Players are banged up, but yes,
we'll see what happens with
injuries,
Derek Ryan here.
Yeah, full slate.
The Orange and Blue Breakfast is brought to you by Mobile One and Blue Water Lubricants. The Blue Water Group has been around for half a century.
P1.
That's quite some time. So you know that they do great work. Blue Water Group, founded in 1974, Canada's largest, not second largest, not third largest. They are Canada's largest independent distributor of mobile branded lubricants. They want to thank everyone for 50 great years with the Blue Water Group, and of course with Mobile One bringing you the Orange and Blue Breakfast. And it is race week for Formula One. Give me that car sound again. I'm gonna say lights out and away we go, and then you do the sound. Okay, here you go. Lights out and away we go. That sounds real nice. That sounds real nice.
We got Martin Brundle in the walk and everything.
Season preview of the Pit Stop Pals coming up either today or tomorrow with myself.
Love it.
So that should be a lot of fun as well.
This is great. Just flying under the radar a bit. F1, like for me personally.
Yeah.
Oilers trade deadline in a way, but then this weekend we're back racing. Love it.
Key to a victory tonight. What are you looking at for the oil?
I mentioned a little earlier last time. I mean, it was that top line, right? It's Robbie Thomas, Jordan Kyrou, and as you said, future Oiler Pavel Buchnevich. So I think going down and shutting that top line down, or at least limiting them to what they can do and have done in the past, will go a long way tonight. It's that top line for me in St. Louis. Go acquire them all, as you say.
Get them all.
These are ours now.
If Ken Holland really cared about a Stanley Cup run, he would go to Robert Thomas, Jordan Kyrou, and Buchnevich and drop one of these bad boys on you.
You're going to live with me now. Yeah, I'm going to take care of you. Because I love you.
I love you, John.
Oh, I love you, John.
Maybe that's all it takes. Maybe we're thinking too much on this thing. Maybe that's just the ask.
It might be all it takes. My game day prediction tonight. Last game I nailed it. Stuart Skinner, top 3 star.
Yes,
and he ended up doing it, and he was steady Eddie between the pipes.
So what are you gonna? You have the power now. Is it?
I know we're already on
McDavid. Connor are you going to award the goal?
We're on McDavid over 1.5 assists already. Plus 173 with our partners at CoolBet. Sign up for an account today at CoolBet. Lock Shop coming up. We'll obviously get into this game a little bit more as well. Pat Gregoire is going to join us today, and I want to talk to him a little bit about can we get some deadline day props, right? Even Huss and I can come up with the props, and they can just give us the number. We think that'll be that could end up being a lot of fun. This is a tough one. Trev, you lean on anything tonight? What do you for a game day prediction? What are you thinking?
Like individually, Dusty, we're talking?
Yeah, individually. Like, you've hit some things in the past, some pre and post.
Yeah, like it's tricky. Like they've lost their last 2 against St. Louis. I'm just trying to think who's.
I think I'm going to play it steady. I think I'm going to run with the red hot Zach Hyman here. I know
It's
you
a
said
safe
you're a little
pick.
worried, but
Safe pick.
5 in a row. Why not make it 6?
I don't mind
There's
that.
nobody else really jumping off the page.
Yeah, like usually I just I go through the whole roster.
Could be a situation
Like who hasn't
as well,
scored in a
like
while?
guy getting a 3rd star, like you can, it doesn't have to be necessarily a point or a. Like
So you want me to say Zach Hyman's going to be a 3-star?
When does the Wave start tonight, for example?
Oh, please.
I'm thinking. I don't know. I can't remember the last time Nurse or Ekholm got a goal. So maybe.
So you're taking one of the blue
one of the blue liners.
You're a risky boy, Trev. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
I'm gonna do that.
I'm
One
going
of
to say
those
Zach
2.
Hyman stays red hot tonight. That'll be my game day prediction for tonight's affair. All right, let's get into the wrap for William Huff. If you want your place to look as good as ours, get it done at William Huff. They wrap Rogers Place, they wrap Commonwealth, and they wrap the Edmonton Sports Talk head offices. What a time to be alive. Bruce and his team, maybe if you're lucky, he'll send the dream team over. We got the dream team.
I'd like to see them just make some wraps. They'd probably kick ass at that as well. Like it'd be the best wrap you've ever eaten.
That's a good idea.
I just the dream team.
But it's like a pita wrap, but it's also logoed. That's a great idea. We need to start logoing our donaires as well.
Yeah, just a little food coloring.
That'd be really cool. What'd you learn on the show today, buddy? You had something. You learned something about me, didn't you?
Like, down. Robin Hood, animated Robin Hood.
I do
You
love
brought
Robin
that
Hood.
up. That was the thing that I.
You didn't know that about me? I'm surprised you didn't know that about me.
I didn't know you loved it.
Oh, I love it.
I forgot it existed, to be
It's-
honest.
it's-
Another texter.
what?
Another texter. We were kind of going back and forth on it, but that was.
What do you
nice.
mean you forgot it existed?
Rush down memory lane. Well, I just didn't. It was one of those things that get lost. It would have been a nice thing for the retro day yesterday to
It's
brought
one
it up.
of, if not the greatest Disney movie of all time.
Well.
Animation. Robin Hood and Little John walking through the forest. It's a classic. It's an absolute classic. I learned today that we've got a new sound coming for, that's good for Italian Center Shop.
variety
It's
of
going to be
sound.
your sound of the day today. It's going to be your sound of the day. We're going to go back to Pinter here on my phone, giving us his cuts of, that's good.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
I like that one.
That's good. That's good.
What a beauty.
So good.
He's just sitting there smiling the whole time. God, we miss Rick Pinter. Anyway, that'll be your sound of the day.
Future guest of the EST Hangout, I would.
Yes, for sure. That's got to happen.
Yeah.
Text of the day for A&W today. Spicy piri piri buddies, just $3.99. If you're a true friend, you tell your friends about these. Hash brown patty, chicken patty, beef patty, bunch of veggies, spicy piri piri sauce. Limited time only, and only at A&W. Text of the day today. I narrowed it down to, I think, 3. All right, here we go. Here's Eric, I'm going to run all 3 by you. You get to decide. Text of the day. We got the hangout coming up. Don't go anywhere. Would you say that the Jim Corsi stick didn't pass the eye test?
That's going to be tough to beat.
That was in from Kid Thunder.
Yeah.
Who somebody said, Kid Thunder, more like Kid Punder. That was just in the nasty chat, though. It wasn't in a text, or else I might have won. This one, I was saying, who in the playoff spot, like third in their division, actually would sell at the deadline when we're talking about the Philadelphia Flyers? Dennis texted and says, it happens all the time, Dusty. They even made a movie about it. It's called Major League. That's a good one. And then there's this one that came in. No name on this. They don't have the handle locked in yet, but a first in Holloway for Toffoli. Who do they think he is? Marty Erat? What's your text of the day today? What's your text of the day?
Dennis is out, but I do. If you're rewarding GCs based on the handles, Dennis would have been almost every day.
Yeah.
The name. The Erad one. I said the Corsi one would be tough to beat from Kid Punder.
They're both good.
I'm taking the Erad one because he was a former Saskatoon Blade.
Ah, nice.
Marty Erad.
Western Hockey League drop.
Love it.
All right, I'll get to the number on that one after the show. First in Holloway for Toffoli. Who do they think he is? Marty Erat?
I haven't seen that name.
I know.
Texted in
it's
years.
So good. That's like that's the old mystery player contest.
Yeah.
Martin Erat, definitely. We should bring back mystery player
why not?
contest.
Yeah,
That'd be a
yeah.
lot of fun, actually. Yeah, let's get a sponsor for mystery player contest. Those are always a good time. All right, Hangout is coming up here right away with Matthew Wannick, Scott Edwards, the head coach of the Pandas. Yes, exactly, and Doug McLean. That's going to do it for us today. I'll be back with the Lock Shop with Patty, and Huss will be setting up. So tonight, what we're watching here, it's funny. 2 games in the National Hockey League tonight. Do you think more people are intrigued to watch Connor McDavid versus the Blues or Matt Rempe against the Columbus Blue Jackets, where he possibly drops the mitts one more time?
Stateside, it'll be Rempe.
Yeah.
Nobody knows. I think half of the United States probably don't know who Connor McDavid is. So, yeah, it's probably the Rempe thing. Everybody knows Rempe. And Lakers-Clippers tonight, huh?
I didn't want to bring it up today. I could spend the whole day talking about this Lakers-Clippers game. I'd be watching it tonight.
Nuggets, too, another delicious one. 6 games in the NBA.
It's be a late night for Dusty. All right, for you too, Trev, Lieutenant Eric, I'm Dustin Nielson. Tell your friends about Edmonton Sports Talk. You can listen on iHeart. You can listen on TuneIn. You can listen to EdmontonSportsTalk.com. You can watch on YouTube. And, of course, you can download all of the podcasts after to listen at your convenience. Hangout's coming up. Have a great day. Take it easy.